The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Force. We are BPM.
They have both played college football for 130 plus years. Today, they meet for the 107th straight year. It's the 124th Monon Bell rivalry between DePauw and Wabash. And today we're at Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle, Indiana, as the rivalry is resumed. It's the Wabash Little Giants and the DePauw Tigers. So good to be with you on this November Saturday afternoon with Brad Wochomurka. I'm Chris Denari. 124th edition of this rivalry. DePauw snapped a 7-game losing streak last year with a win in Crawfordsville. This is what both teams have been eyeing all year long.
This is what these kids eye their entire DePauw and Wabash careers. I mean, we're in Greencastle, just 27 miles to the north of us is Crawfordsville. These kids went to high school together. They played against each other in high school. This rivalry is homegrown in every form and fashion, Chris, and it is going to be a tremendous end of the season, final game of the regular season for both these teams this afternoon.
These are two outstanding Division III programs. DePauw is 8-1 on the year. Wabash is 7-2, and they have high-powered offenses. Both average better than 30 points per game.
Yeah, and it's two different ways that they move the ball. Wabash, obviously, on the ground. Ike James, a phenomenal player. 15th in the nation, Division III, in rushing offense per game. The Wabash Little Giants and the Tigers, they're going to spread you out. Jake Lasky, the quarterback, has big targets to throw to, and he can run as well. Both of these teams can really move the football, Chris.
Well, you talked about Ike James. These teams have outstanding players. Ike James, the sophomore running back for Wabash. Andy Hunt, the junior wide receiver for DePauw.
Yeah, in a game like this, it's a big-time game, you need big-time experience. Ike James has some Division II pedigree at St. Joseph's College, and Andy Hunt, of course, huge last year in the Monon Bell game. Caught the winning touchdown from his brother Matt with under a minute to go. Both of these guys know what it means to play in a big game on a big stage, and they're both phenomenal talents for these two schools.
Again, DePauw won last year in Crawfordsville, 37-34. We have a good one today. It's the 124th edition of the Monon Bell, and you're watching on Fox Sports Indiana.
60 minutes, Wabash always. Go, boys! Go!
The Wabash Little Giants entering the field here at Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle, the 124th edition of the Monon Bell game. Wabash and DePauw. DePauw last won 2 straight in 2007 and 2008. They'll try to make it 2 straight after winning in Crawfordsville a year ago. With Brad Wochomurka, I'm Chris Denari. The third member of our team down on the sideline is Jeremiah Johnson. JJ?
Picture perfect day for college football. The game time temperature 38 degrees, but the sun is out. It feels great. You know, this rivalry has a way of creating remember where you were moments. 1997, the coldest temperature prior to this one here in Greencastle, it was 31 degrees, but I remembered I was in the stands. I was a sophomore in college. The snow was coming down. It was windy as well. I may or may not have left at halftime. Watch the second half of the Delta House. Now they had to get the plow out onto the field to clear it out. The story goes that at one point the referee signaled for a clock to start, and the snowplow thought he was supposed to drive onto the field. Eventually they did clear that field off. DePauw won that game 14-7 over Wabash. About 6,000 fans were at that one. As you see today's weather, it is 38 degrees for this one. We're expecting around 10,000 fans on hand. DePauw and Wabash, the renewal of the rivalry, cannot wait, and really a great day. I left that game back in 1997 a little early. I'll be here the entire time and cannot wait to share some stories of the Monon Bell Classic.
Thanks so much, JJ. Both Brad and I have memories of this game. I have memories in the press box because I've been an announcer for this game. You've been an announcer as well, but back in the early 2000s, you played in this Monon Bell rivalry for DePauw.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing like it, Chris. Getting up for this game really all year, all season, and then, of course, when Bell Week finally arrives. And it's going to be a key to watch in the early part of this game. I mean, a Division III athlete usually doesn't have a game that means this much and is this hyped. So don't let the emotions get the best of you. Stay under control. No mistakes early on, as everyone has a lot of juice flowing as we get ready to kick here in Greencastle.
And we know there are so many fans here in Greencastle wearing the red of Wabash, the black of DePauw. Don Morrell, the second-year head coach of the Wabash Little Giants. This is his sixth Monon Bell game. He was an assistant for 4 years, 15-4. And the veteran is Bill Lynch, 43-16, 8-2 back in 2004 before he went to Indiana as an assistant to Terry Hepner. Has been a head coach at both Ball State and Indiana in the Division I ranks. Was also the head coach at Butler. He's a Butler alum. And again, DePauw won the Bell a year ago. So many of you watching throughout the country, the watch parties, either a DePauw or a Wabash watch party, or many of you are together today watching this 124th edition of the Monon Bell. Skylar Nehrig will kick it off for Wabash. They won the toss, they deferred. They opted to kick to start this game, and we're ready to go. The 124th edition of the Monon Bell game. Wabash and DePauw is underway. And the kick taken by DePauw. And that will be knocked out of bounds at about the 18-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will start 1st and 10 in their first offensive possession.
Yeah, interesting to see that Wabash deferred. You know, something we'll have to keep an eye on, too, is the wind here in Greencastle. Blackstock Stadium, a bit up on a hill, and it is windy down there at field level. So a team that likes to pass the ball like DePauw, obviously that'll affect the kicking game, but throwing the ball as well. So we'll see if maybe the decision to defer maybe alluded to the wind a little bit for Don Morrell.
Jack Roberts had the return out to the 19-yard line. The quarterback, ironically, it's the fourth quarterback that DePauw has used this year, and he's a senior out of West Lafayette, Indiana, and that's Jake Lasky. He likes to keep the ball, but opts to hand it off to Ramon Lopez, who is the running back to start the game for DePauw.
Yeah, it's kind of running back by committee for DePauw. You'll see several guys take handoffs from Lasky, and obviously with the weapon that Jake Lasky is with his legs, we'll expect a lot of carries from him as well.
He's only 5'9", 169 pounds. 3 wide receivers here to the near side. DePauw does not use a tight end. They'll spread you out. Now Lasky, he'll run the football on second down and get to the 21-yard line, and that's where Wabash's defense makes the stop. Deontay Simpson, a senior out of Phoenix, Arizona, there to make the tackle.
Looked like there was a hole initially there for Lasky, and you see the athleticism of the Wabash defensive line quickly closing that and forcing 3rd and long for the Tigers.
There are the backs and the receivers. The offensive line, a veteran offensive line, 4 seniors up front for DePauw on 3rd down. Lasky's pass is complete, and it's a 1st down. Catch made by Nolan Ayers, a big wide receiver at 6'4" out of Indianapolis and Cecina High School.
Yeah, great job by Ayers. You'll see here getting body position on the cornerback, and this is a huge advantage for the Tigers. They have not just big, but massive wide receivers height-wise for the Division III level, something that Bill Lynch says they will try to take advantage of, throw the ball up, use the body, and try to make big plays.
Lasky completing 59% of his passes. Again, he took over late in the season. The starting quarterback for DePauw, Matt Labus, was out to an outstanding start, a junior out of Westfield, Indiana, and Guerin Catholic High School. He tore his ACL. And that's why Lasky now, who started the season as a wide receiver, is now the starting quarterback for this DePauw team. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. Andy Hunt is in motion, and DePauw keeps it on the ground with Ramon Lopez, a 5'9" junior out of St. Charles, Illinois, has rushed for 355 yards and 6 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, not the biggest DePauw offensive line. You saw him get swallowed up right there, so it could be tough going for Lopez on the ground early on.
5 defensive starters return for Wabash from last year's Monon Bell game. Lucas Bucina, Clay Fullenkamp, and Deontay Simpson are up front. Some talented linebackers. Both these teams use the 3-4 defensive alignment. As Lasky on 2nd down, that pass is complete. And it will be Ayers again for a catch of about 6 yards, setting up another third down for DePauw.
Yeah, a little bit more manageable this time than the previous third down. Just get some chunk yardage right there, and now DePauw will have a chance to open the playbook a little bit on 3rd and 5.
Well, one of the things the Tigers have done so well this year, 49% on 3rd down. We saw them already complete a 3rd down pass. 3 wide receivers again to the near side on 3rd down and 4. Lasky fires and incomplete.
Yeah, not sure if that was maybe a misread between quarterback and receiver there, if Lasky just threw it behind his intended target, but unfortunate miscue because that was a wide open look and easy first down for the Tigers.
That was intended for Ben Wilson, a senior out of Batesville, Indiana, and now a punting situation for the Tigers. Hunter Seago is on. He's a junior out of Madison, Indiana, averaging about 35 yards per punt. Tyler Downing is back deep for the Little Giants. And he'll take the ball at about the 17-yard line and get out to the 25. And that's where Wabash will take over 1st and 10.
Good coverage there by DePauw. A little bit of running room for Downing. Looks like we do have a flag on the play on the far side.
Grant Henderson is our referee today. Both these schools are part of the North Coast Athletic Conference. DePauw starts the day in 2nd. Wabash is 3rd.
Personal foul on the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down, Wabash.
And Chris, that's an uncharacteristic mistake. You look at both of these teams, one of the things they both have going for them is penalties. DePauw, in fact, 3rd in the nation in penalties per game, just 3.5, and Wabash right behind them, not too far, 17th in the country. So uncharacteristic penalty on Wabash early on in this game.
Yeah, these are the type of penalties you don't want, especially early in the game. Both coaches stressed, and in fact, when I talked to Don Morell on Monday, you want to get off to a good start, and this really puts you in a hole back at the 12-yard line.
Yeah, good job by the Wabash defense to stop DePauw after that 1 first down. This kind of puts a buzzkill on that good defensive stand early on.
Weston Murphy is a sophomore quarterback for the Little Giants out of Gilbert, Arizona, and the handoff to Isaac Avant. Isaac Avant is a sophomore out of Indianapolis and Warren Central High School. The 1-2 punch with Avant and James in the backfield.
Yeah, we make a big deal of Ike James. We'll certainly see a lot of them, but they do go 2 series on, 2 series off, and this is what you got to be careful of. Maybe the nerves popping up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, ball came out after the knee was down, but still, you don't want those mistakes in a game like this.
He's rushed for over 500 yards. He lines up behind Murphy. Avant has running room again to 25 to 30, and he has a Wabash 1st down.
Well, if they can get a production like this out of Avant, it's going to be a long day for the Tiger defense that's so good against the run. 15th in the country defending the run, and that's a big play right there early on for Wabash. Big hole.
James has rushed for over 1,200 yards. And now 3 wide receivers for the Little Giants on 1st down and 10. So they have their 1st down. And now Avant again, he's up the middle. And he's across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Wabash up front has an offensive line anchored by Daniel Kimball. He's a senior right tackle. Those are the skill players. Avant, Matt Pinola was the leading rusher a year ago. There's that offensive line. Slager, Lead, McAtee, Gutierrez, and Kimball. Avant gets it again. It's been all Isaac Avant, and he's wrestled back, but they'll give him the forward progress out to the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and short now for Wabash.
That looked like big play potential. Matt Kruby did a nice job of coming in there for the Tigers and stopping Avant cold after a few yards, but still, this is a big offensive line for Wabash, and they're having their way early. Averaging over 290 per man. That is big, Chris, at the Division III level. You don't see that very often. You can see the effect it's having on DePauw early on.
They rush for 264 yards per game. That's #1 in Wabash history. They are 1st in the North Coast Athletic Conference and 15th in NCAA Division III. And it looks like we may get a measurement here to see if Avant got the 1st down.
Yeah, it looked very close. Not a whole lot of forward progress. Again, Krupa came up and made a nice stick on Avent, but after the penalty, Chris, on the punt, you got to like what you're seeing if you're Don Morell here, really having your way early with the DePauw defense.
Brad, again, you and I, we've talked about this. This is not just any rivalry. These are schools, as you mentioned in the open, 28 miles apart. Crawfordsville to the north of Greencastle. So many alums that work in the Indianapolis area. So many, as you said, brothers have played against each other. High school teammates have played against each other. When you look up and down the roster, I mean, and this is a game that there is so much pride for both schools.
So much pride, and it continues even after today, Chris, because you're going to have kids on both sides of this game that go on to be co-workers or work in the same fields and have kids playing soccer together. So they're going to be talking about this game for a long, long time beyond this, not just teammates, but folks on each side of the ball.
Wabash leads the overall series 60-54, and there were 9 ties. Since it was established as the Monon Bell rivalry, it's 41-38-6. Little Giants 28-26-5 here in Greencastle, and DePauw won last year in Crawfordsville. It is 3rd and short. The eye backfield behind Murphy. He fumbles the snap as he pulled out quickly, and we'll see where they spot the ball.
Yeah, this is probably the coldest game both of these teams have played all year by far, so you think that might be a factor in the ball security a little bit. Cold hands, cold muscles in between plays, a little bit of a delay there with the measuring. But Murphy did a good job of jumping back on that one.
And that's a loss of a yard, and so the ball, Brad, is at the 43.5-yard line. It's about a yard short, and here early in the game, Don Morell and the Little Giants go for it on 4th down.
I like this call, though. You look at the way they've had success running the ball already, although they put Murphy out of the shotgun. Big play here early in the game.
Ike James is in. James gets the call, and James is knocked behind the line of scrimmage.
Wow, that is an incredible play. Ike James, the stud, one of the best running backs in the country, comes in to pick up really half a yard, and what a tackle there by the DePauw defense. Coming up from the safety position, I believe it was Hunter Seago. Wow, what a play by Seago early on. Huge momentum shift for the Tigers.
So DePauw has the first advantage as Wabash is denied on 4th down. And the Tigers start now in Little Giant territory at the Wabash 43.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams have had things that couldn't have worked out better and things that probably could have worked out a whole lot better than they did. When you look at DePauw getting stopped in that first offensive series, then Wabash with the penalty, and you think they're running right down the field. And here the Tigers now already in plus territory on the Wabash side of the field.
4 wide receivers for DePauw: Wilson, Andy Hunt, Jake Hagan, and Nolan Ayers. Man in motion is Andy Hunt as Lasky on 1st down finds Hunt out of the backfield, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Gain of 3 for DePauw. 2nd down and 7 for the Tigers.
Obviously a name we expect to call a lot this afternoon. Andy Hunt, did not see him involved in the first series, so not surprised at all to see Bill Lynch, even just on a quick little play right there, get his playmaker involved in the first play of this drive.
That is his 150th career reception. He has 30 career touchdowns, 12 of them this year. He's a junior out of Indianapolis in Heritage Christian High School. There he is in motion, and a handoff, and the running back will be stopped at the 40-yard line and set up a 3rd down situation now for DePauw.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that probably drives a running back crazy. The first contact he made was with his own left tackle, Nick LaChapelle. Get out of my way, big guy, is what he's probably saying. He's trying to hit the hole. Instead, he hits a black shirt and only falls forward for no gain.
3rd down 7, 9 minutes to play here in the opening quarter in Greencastle. No score. The 124th Monon Bell game here on Fox Sports Indiana. A chilly Saturday afternoon. Lasky on 3rd down, and that pass is complete. And that's Nolan Ayers in the secondary, has a 1st down inside the Wabash 25.
Again, 6'4" frame for Nolan Ayers. You see him go up and get this ball. He had a lot of separation, as you see here. Lasky a bit high, but Ayers, the great ball control and body control to get that 1 foot in. That's all you need in college, and he does a great job of tapping the line for the big game for the Tigers.
3 wide receivers here to the near side. Andy Hunt, Wilson, and Hagan, and keeping the football, and that's the run by Lasky. Lasky inside the 10.
Well, there's Jake Lasky on the ground. We knew we would see that, and a great job on the play by Nolan Ayers, the wide receiver, blocking down the field. A quarterback loves that when he gets in the open field. Lasky using the legs right there. The Tigers are in great position early on in this one. You see Lasky that time, a huge hole, and it did not close. Well done by the DePauw offensive line. And there's Ayers down there blocking. Good job by the big fella.
Lasky had 500 yards in their win against Allegheny. That was a DePauw school record. In that game, he threw for 413 yards and rushed for 87. He's rushed for over 400 yards now, the senior out of West Lafayette. And that football is into the end zone. It's loose. It's a fumble, and let's see who got it. And DePauw has recovered the football in the end zone.
Very, very close there. What a spinning run. It looked like the ball popped out very close to the goal line. We'll see on the replay if that was in already, but regardless, the Tigers right there to jump on it, and they take the early lead.
Andrew Saunders wearing number 65, a senior out of Pittsboro, Indiana, and Tri-West High School makes the recovery.
Yeah, let's see here. That's tough to tell from that angle. It got the ball out, dangerous around the goal line. But how about the offensive lineman down the field? I would imagine that's probably his first career touchdown at DePauw.
James Deaton fumbled it in the end zone. Now Jake Tanner is on for the point after touchdown. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And the DePauw Tigers, after stopping Wabash on 4th down, march down the field 43 yards. And the Tigers have scored first here in the Monon Bell rivalry. A fumble recovery by Andrew Saunders in the end zone. And DePauw leads Wabash 7-0. After last year's DePauw win, the Monon Bell is on the Tigers' sideline, and DePauw has taken the lead 7-0 on the fumble recovery by Andrew Saunders in the end zone. Back on November 22nd, 1930, that is a look at the game program. The game was played here in Greencastle, and it was a 7-6 DePauw win.
You remember that one, right, Chris?
I remember
Were you there?
that one.
Yeah, okay.
I've been around many of these, but not back in 1930 with Brad Wochomurka. I'm Chris Denari. Jeremiah Johnson is on the sideline. So glad to be with you here today on Fox Sports Indiana, our entire crew, on a 38-degree day in West Central Indiana. Jeremy Nutter is the kickoff specialist for the Tigers. And that will be a short kick, and it is fielded by Avon, and Avon had nowhere to go, and he's back to the 16-yard line.
Another great play by the DePauw defense, stepping up to make the tackle that time. Looked like that was Chase Sadler. What a play by the kick return team for DePauw. After a lot of momentum with the touchdown, now they're able to limit any damage here on the kickoff.
Well, one of the things Wabash would like to do in the throwing game is get Ryan Thomas involved, a 6'4 junior out of Martinsville, playing his first game since early in the season. He suffered a broken hand. And when you look at the passing game for Wabash, though it has been good here late in the season, it really struggled without Thomas on the field.
Really did. He's a different wide receiver. He's bigger than the rest of the wide receiving core, and he can have a huge impact here this afternoon, and they go to him right here.
He's number 5, and he can't haul it in. Coverage over there by Ryan Price. Thomas, 42 career catches, 561 yards. A year ago in this rivalry game in Crawfordsville, he had 10 catches for 108 yards.
Yeah, and with Oliver Page, their top wide receiver from a year ago, out since early in the season, Thomas is really the guy now that needs to step up. It's not that the Wabash passing game, they don't have the talent on that side of the ball. They just haven't been able to make the connections with their smaller wide receivers that are inexperienced.
High backfield, Murphy finds Matt Panola, and Panola has the catch, and he's knocked down about a gain of a yard. He's a junior out of Zionsville, Indiana. He was the leading rusher a year ago, but here comes Avant, here comes Ike James, and Don Morrell told me on Monday, you think about a young man like that who is getting the bulk of the carries a year ago, takes a step back. He's only rushed it one time this year.
That's amazing, and it shows the depth that Wabash has, but also the sacrifices these kids will make at this level just to win and just to play football. Big 3rd and long here for Wabash.
Murphy forced out of the pocket. We've got a penalty flag. It's over the middle, nearly intercepted. Probably a hold back in the backfield. DePauw will, if that's the case, decline it and force Wabash to punt out of its own end zone.
Yeah, dangerous pass there. That ball probably should have been intercepted by DePauw and may have worked out similar to what a punt will be, but a bit surprised here. You see Don Morello going to the air 3 straight plays after having so much success running the ball in that first series and bringing Ike James in really for the first full series. And yeah, now DePauw's going to have another great chance to start in really good field position here following this Wabash punt.
Penalty was on Kyle McAtee, the starting center, and DePauw declines the penalty. And now Alex Moore, a 6'1 sophomore out of Indianapolis, averaging 37 yards per punt, is on for Wabash. And back deep for DePauw. He's already had a punt return for a touchdown this year, and that's Andy Hunt.
Very dangerous back there. Keep an eye on 17 if he gets a shot here. Looks like he won't.
Nice high punt by Marr, but it sails out of bounds, and DePauw will have good field position again. And it's a 7-0 Tigers lead.
Yeah, I expect we might see that a few times this afternoon. Wabash kicking away from Andy Hunt, especially down back in their own territory. A big weapon for the Tigers. And if you're DePauw here, all the momentum on your side right now. You've shown that you can run the ball a little bit after the big breakthrough by Lasky on the last series. Obviously, they've had success throwing the ball up to the bigger wide receivers. So really everything available right now to Bill Lynch and his offense. And we still haven't seen, other than one dump off, much of Andy Hunt yet.
This is Bill Lynch's 6th year, his 5th straight. Remember, he coached back in 2004, won the Monon Bell. Tigers finished 8-2. This is their 3rd straight year with at least 8 wins, as Tanner Cleveland gets the call for DePauw. And in the 130 years of DePauw football, this is the first time it's ever happened. And the ball rests at the midfield stripe, ball at the 50, 2nd and 10 for the Tigers.
Yeah, DePauw is so happy to finally get that monkey off their back and win the bell last year after 7 straight Wabash wins. But you talk about hungry, a Wabash team that hasn't lost it in that long. This team is motivated today.
Another running back, and that's Cleveland again, a 5'9 sophomore out of Napanee, Indiana. He's rushed for 179 yards coming in and a couple of touchdowns.
And that's just gravy right here, Chris. I mean, you expect Lasky to do it with his legs. You know he can do it, through the air. But I mentioned these running backs kind of by committee. No one's really stood out. You get 7-8 yards a pop from guys like Cleveland or Lopez. It could be a big, big day for DePauw.
Andy Hunt, Jake Hagan, both in the slot at the top of the screen. On 3rd down and short, senior quarterback Lasky keeps it on the ground, has the first down. He's down to the 35.
Yeah, and that's what DePauw wants to do. With Lasky being able to run the ball, you pretty much then have everyone blocked, other than maybe a safety that needs to come up and try to make a play like you saw there. That's why Bill Lynch loves athletic quarterbacks like this that can keep it, and he's able to get plus yardage in the first down.
Both these teams coming in off shootout wins a week ago, both on the road. Wabash won 48-41 at Allegheny. DePauw 37-32 at Kenyon. Cleveland has the carry again inside the 35 to about the 34-yard line.
Yeah, that's a confidence play right there for the Wabash defense. Couple of big runs the last 2 plays, able to stop him for next to no gain on that one. So let's see if Wabash settles back in here, maybe get some pressure on Lasky.
DePauw on the year rushes for 180 yards per game. They throw for 245, and Lasky through the air, nearly intercepted. And over there was Bishop Rhodes on the coverage.
Yeah, Rhodes, had he been able to turn around maybe just a split second quicker, might have found that ball right in his hands and a chance to even return that one for big yardage. A little underthrown again. We've seen it a couple times from Lasky. Nice job by Rhodes. He is quick. He's their leading sack man, and he's out there in coverage as well.
That was intended for 6'5 Ben Wilson. 3rd down again for DePauw. Remember, 49% they convert prior to today's game. That's up in the air a long time, and the catch is incomplete. It may have been out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Again, we mentioned they're going to look at jump balls. I expect we'll see many more of those throughout the course of the afternoon. But throwing kind of across your body, across the field, even at that height advantage, you're not going to complete that very often. Tough play for DePauw.
That was Henry Weberhunt on the coverage for the Little Giants.
Yeah, I think if Bill Lynch had about a 3rd and 6 or better here, he might have thought about going for it. 4th and 9 now, a little bit long, so a pooch punt opportunity here. You just try to hope you can pin Wabash inside the 10, 15-yard line.
Yeah, play a field position game. Seago back to punt. He'll let it go from the 45 and kick it toward the corner. It goes out of bounds, and let's see where the official will mark it.
Jeremiah Johnson's down there making a play on the sideline.
down to the 17-yard line, and that's where Wabash will take over as the DePauw Tigers have the early lead. 5:33 to play in the first. 7-0 DePauw.
Back in Greencastle, DePauw with a 7-0 lead over Wabash in the first quarter of the Monon Bell Classic. Let's take a look at just the roster breakdown, and you can feel the Indiana flavor in this rivalry. 137 players dressed for Wabash, but so many of them are from the state of Indiana. Now, DePauw and Wabash, if you look through the states and then you add them all together, 190 total players from the state of Indiana. You know, basketball is often referred to as Indiana's game, but this is Indiana's game on the gridiron. We're back to live action. If you love Indiana high school football, the high school football in this state is spectacular. You're seeing virtually a who's who, as you've referenced, guys who played against each other in high school, guys who were teammates in high school. They're all in the same field today.
Well, Brad Wochomurka played his high school football at Columbus East. I was a high school basketball player at Westfield. We both gravitated here to this rivalry, you to Greencastle, me to Crawfordsville, and throughout central Indiana especially, you see so many players, whether it be football, basketball, any sport, that are either recruited by Wabash or DePauw.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bill Lynch talked about it to me earlier this week when he said, I've sat in the same room recruiting, 10, 15 guys from a couple of schools, and 7 and 7 end up splitting up where they go, Wabash, DePauw. It's very, very difficult for these coaches in this state to really have success over the other program because so many of these players end up splitting where they end up spending their college years. You're recruiting the same kid, and it's the same type of kid academically, same profile of, the liberal arts college and institutions and education. So it's a very interesting recruiting battle that these teams have to wage.
Another third down for Wabash. They have just one first down here in Greencastle over the middle, and that pass is complete. Rashawn Jones, a sophomore out of Indianapolis and Lawrence Central High School, gives the Little Giants their second first down.
God, what a great play by Weston Murphy. Watch him look off the defense right here in the last minute. Flip it over. There's the wide receiver wide open. Nice play that shot by Murphy, and it looked like for a minute Wabash was going to be forced to punt, give DePauw good field position for the third time. That is a huge play after a really big defensive stand there from Wabash too. So now some momentum on the sideline for the Little Giants.
Wabash approaching 50 total yards here in the quarter, 83 for DePauw, and that pass out to Panola, the fullback. He has running room. 40, 45, 50 into DePauw territory. Matt Panola coming in, 16 receptions, 186 yards. They use him as a pass receiver out of the backfield. He doesn't carry the ball.
Yeah, you mentioned how he was their leading rusher last year and had only one carry this year, but he's still a huge weapon. What a great play call and design here. No one on the backside of the play. Little misdirection, and Panola has all kinds of room to run. How about Wabash getting it done through the air right here, having some success moving it against DePauw?
Panola had 2 touchdowns in the game against DePauw last year of 20 and 50 yards. Avant is met at the 36-yard line on first down as Wabash now in DePauw territory trying to even up the score.
Like a bullet, Hunter Seago out of the defensive backfield. Second big play he's come up to make in the rush game. Of course, had the tackle on Ike James on the fourth down earlier. Seago, a hard-nosed player, a lot of experience in this game as well. Big tackle there to slow down some of the momentum for Wabash.
Coming in, Seago, 36 tackles for the Tigers. Second down. Ike James has come back in as Avant takes a seat. Panola is the fullback, and James gets the carry, and James dives his way to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, this is a big win for DePauw when you look at only 1 or 2 yards of carry. That 3-4 defensive there is the strength really right now on the defensive line, but it's designed in a way that may allow a couple of yards on a first and a second down. It's not going to tackle the runner in the backfield for a loss very often, so being able to put Wabash after 2 runs into a third and long like this, that is a great job by the DePauw defense. Big play for the Little Giants here.
Ike James is the 11th Little Giant running back to top 1,000 yards in a single season on third down. Murphy out of the pocket, rolls, and that pass is incomplete. It was intended for tight end Dylan Baresh. And now fourth down, we saw Don Morrell go for it in his own territory. Do you go for it again here on fourth down?
This is right on the line. I mean, this is similar to where, he went for it even further backed up in the first series of the game. I think he is going to go for it here. You got a little bit of momentum. You've got DePauw backed up just a bit if you're able to, if they turn the ball over here. So we'll see what Morrell decides to do. He's thinking long and hard, and I think he is going to pin him back.
And so the Punt team will come on. Alex Marr for the second time. And Andy Hunt will be the deep man back for DePauw.
Yeah, a couple nice pass plays on that series, but you did see on the last one some of the accuracy issues that Murphy's had. And I think, again, 4th and 7, you probably have to go to the air. Morrell not as comfortable there.
And Marr will look to the corner. And that punt will get a good Wabash bounce, and they will pin the Tigers inside the 10. So we saw Wabash start with some bad field position, and now DePauw will start inside its own 10.
Yeah, big play right there. Just kind of flipped the field, if anything, Chris, because Wabash was backed up to start this series. A couple of nice chunk plays, and, you know, hey, hindsight's 20/20. Great call by Don Morrell to go with the punting unit, and he's pinned DePauw back deep in their own territory.
So Lasky will bring out the DePauw Tigers. Again, we mentioned he really is the 4th quarterback. Matt Labus started the year, a junior out of Westfield. DePauw had such a good quarterback who finally got them the Monon Bell a year ago, and Andy Hunt's brother Matt, who was basically a 4-year starter for the Tigers. And there's Andy Hunt, the younger brother, 41 receptions, over 800 yards. He's one of the 4 wide receivers in the spread formation for the Tigers, and the Little Giants do a nice job defensively.
Yeah, no running room there, and it's hard going early on for Lopez and Cleveland, but Andy Hunt certainly need to look to try to get him involved. Those numbers you saw, those are big-time numbers at the Division III level. 12 touchdowns after 9 games, over 800 yards. He is a playmaker. He's the one guy Don Morrell said we have to know he is at all times. We'll see how DePauw tries to get involved here in this series.
Tigers have used 3 running backs today, Lopez, Cleveland, and Deaton. Lasky, and that pass is incomplete. It's intended for Chase Sadler, and now 3rd down and long for the Tigers.
Yeah, nice play design. This is great, but it's tough to always execute these back shoulder throws, and it looked like he slipped just a little bit. Good ball location by Lasky. Would have been a 1st down. Now, this is a really, really big play here in this game.
Yeah, want to make sure you take care of the football here on 3rd down and 10. You don't want to get too greedy. Sure, you'd like to get a 1st down, but you don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah, that wind's picked up a little bit. DePauw could be punting into it. We want to get a few yards here to make that easier, if not a 1st down.
Lasky out of the backfield. Lopez has the catch, and Lopez knocked out of bounds at about the 12. And now the Tigers forced to punt on 4th down.
Yeah, Wabash is going to start with by far their best field position here, you would think. So a nice job by the Wabash defense after Don Morrell elected to punt, pinned DePauw deep, and you sense a little bit the momentum shifting here after the early score from DePauw. Now Wabash looks to have a great opportunity following the punt here.
And as you said, Brad, Hunter Sega will be punting into a pretty decent wind here at Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle, and the stadium sits a little bit up on a hill, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Not a lot of protection, and he just got that punt away. But yeah, into the wind here, and you see Wabash going to start with great field position. And that wind will be a factor, absolutely, both in the kicking game, as you saw there, and for DePauw throwing the ball the rest of this afternoon.
Yeah, Little Giants will start at the DePauw 35-yard line.
So let's see now here if maybe Don Morrell tries to really unleash the running game, and Ike James, didn't have he's had success on that first drive before getting stopped on the on the 4th down. Then not a whole lot after that, and they went to the air in 2 big chunk plays last time. So I think the Little Giants have done a nice job of putting DePauw back on their heels, guessing a little bit, and the playbook is open for Don Morrell.
Well, we apologize for those of you. We have some technical issues, but as you're watching, 7-0. DePauw has the lead. 1:34 to play in the opening quarter. James is the running back behind Murphy on 1st down. And James gets the call. Has some running room to the 30 and down to the 28-yard line. Ike James on 1st down this year, averaging 6 yards per carry.
And that allows you to do so much with your offense, Chris. That is a huge number and really opens things up. And there's James, the first kind of chunk yardage we've seen from him this afternoon on the ground. Let's see if Wabash just tries to ground and pound the rest of this drive into DePauw territory.
Yeah, a little surprising that they, as you said, they threw the ball. 70% of the time they like to keep the ball on the ground. And now Murphy rolls out of the pocket. He has a wide receiver open for a 1st down, and that's Ryan Thomas.
Good to see him back on the field. We talked about it at the start of the game. He had the first pass dropped, so now he's back, caught a ball, back in the flow of this game. It's a big target for Murphy, and Wabash moving after that 1st down. They've done it on the ground, they've done it through the air now. We've got an injury on the field for DePauw.
Weston Murphy comes in, 8 touchdowns and 6 interceptions on the year. Has thrown for over 1,200 yards. He's a 6'2", 202-pounder out of Gilbert, Arizona. And when Jeremiah Johnson showed Indiana for Wabash with 105, the next state was Arizona. And in talking to Don Morrell this week, he said Wabash has always had a connection to the state of Arizona and done very well in recruiting kids to come.
They really have. I'll never remember in my playing days getting beat up pretty bad by a couple of Wabash guys that were from Arizona, so I remember that very, very well. They have a nice pipeline down there, and heck, I'm sure it's a pretty good recruiting visit too.
James the carry, and James wrapped up by a host of DePauw tacklers. One name you will not hear today, and we talked to Bill Lynch before the game, and that's Matt Mitch, the 6'3" junior defensive end out of Indianapolis Cathedral. They had hoped he would be able to play, not able to go today.
Yeah, and he's really one of the emotional leaders of their defense, not to mention one of the most talented players on that defensive line. Has an ankle, tried it out, looked to see if he could go a few plays, a few series, and just not at 100%. They thought might be a liability out there. But he's down on the sideline pumping his teammates up.
Ashawn Miller is the nose tackle, and James into the teeth of that DePauw defense sets up a 3rd down and short now for Wabash.
So it's going to be a big play to start the second quarter for the Little Giants. 3rd and medium, 3rd and about 5 yards as they are threatening after an early score by DePauw. So we'll see what Wabash can do when we come back.
We played a quarter in Greencastle. DePauw recovered a fumble in the end zone. An offensive lineman, Andrew Saunders, with the touchdown. We head to the second quarter, the 124th Monon Bell game, and DePauw leads early, 7-0. So much history in a rivalry that started back in 1890. Wabash and DePauw for the 124th time meeting in the Monon Bell game. We're in Greencastle, and Wabash has it on 3rd down. Weston Murphy rolls out of the pocket. It is complete and will be a 1st down, and that's Ryan Thomas again, the 6'4" junior out of Martinsville, and 1st down and goal now for the Little Giants.
That's a huge grab by Thomas, going down to make sure he had it. It looks like Murphy limping a little bit. There was a lot of pressure behind. If he gets that ball off or waits a half second longer, that might have been a sack or even worse, a fumble. Great pressure by DePauw, but even better by Wabash to execute. And now 1st and goal, knocking on the door.
Isaac Avan is back in. He's the running back with Murphy. And a timeout taken by the Little Giants as they're attempting to tie the score here in Greencastle.
Yeah, one thing to keep an eye on, Chris, right before the end of the first quarter, we saw a quick injury from DePauw. David Corey, one of their safeties, limped off. He's back. That's a big injury potential. DePauw's had a lot of safety injuries this year, so good to see Corey back out there to start the quarter.
All right, let's hit to the sideline, and here's Jeremiah Johnson. JJ?
Well, for the first time in 5 years, Matt Hunt is not playing in the Monon Bell game. Matt Hunt, a 4-year starter for DePauw, of course, last year led the Tigers to that win through the touchdown pass to Andy, your brother. How many times have you thought back to that final drive when you take over with 2 minutes to play in your final football game and how perfect an ending it was?
It really was the best ending possible to my career, and I couldn't ask for a better place to play. And I just love DePauw. I love that we got this great tradition with Wabash.
We'll take a look at that play, a corner route, about 20, 24 yards out.
We're 13 yards out. It's probably about a 19-yard pass because it's about 6 yards in the end zone. I've seen it a lot.
How many times did you and your brother practice that one?
That specific play, a lot. We ran a corner route a lot. It was kind of our bread and butter.
Let's go back to live action with Chris. Maybe I'll get a quick question after this play.
All right, thanks, JJ. Matt Hunt led the DePauw Tigers to the win a year ago. And now 1st and goal. Avan trying to get to the end zone and will come up just about a half-yard short. And now 2nd and goal for Wabash with a chance to tie it here early second quarter.
That's a nice wrinkle right there. The direct snap to Avan, everyone moving to their right, open up a nice hole. He dove just short of the end zone, but Wabash looking good right here. But something we haven't seen yet. Nice direct snap, good play, and now the big guy James back in the backfield.
Ike James has 17 rushing touchdowns this year, offset behind Murphy on 2nd down. James the call, and James into the end zone, and Wabash within a point. It's 7-6 DePauw.
Those big guys up front, I mentioned over 290 pounds on average. They open the door. James able to walk in for the touchdown, and what a drive for Wabash. After getting down early in this one, the decision to punt on fourth down pins DePauw. DePauw 3 and out, and Wabash, great field position. They take advantage of it and go in for the score.
Well, you said that big offensive line on the right side, Kimball at almost 300 pounds, Wyatt Gutierrez at 282, and James went behind him as Skylar Nahrig is on for the point after the hold of Austin Nightingale, and the kick is good. And we're all even here in Greencastle now at 7 apiece.
Yeah, great response by Wabash right there. And this has kind of become a field position game early on, Chris. We've seen both teams in their scoring drives take advantage of really, really good field position. For Wabash, able to really establish the run there, but the big third down catch by Thomas. I know the Little Giant faithful really happy to see him back in the game. A key play there down inside the 10-yard line to keep the drive alive. And we've got a good one already early here in Greencastle.
Well, JJ, 2 new quarterbacks this year in this rivalry. Last year, 993 yards of total offense. You talked to Matt Hunt. He went toe-to-toe with Connor Rice a year ago.
Don Morrell said after that game, when it came down to it, the best player on the field won that game. That was Matt Hunt. Matt, in your final game, what did it mean to win this after 3 unsuccessful attempts? You knew you only had one more shot. You knew it was your final college football game.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty nervous going into the game, just knowing that all the history, and didn't want to be that class that didn't ever win a bell. So it meant the world, and all my friends. It was just it was the perfect ending, like I said earlier. Couldn't ask for a better ending to our careers.
You okay watching this one, or do you want to put a helmet on?
I'd love to put a helmet on, and I'm pretty fired up in the end zone down there.
He said he just went
losing my voice, that's for sure.
He said he just wants to stay on the sideline with me, so he doesn't have to go back to the stands. He might sneak into the locker room at halftime, guys.
Wabash has won the last 4 here in Greencastle, so you heard Matt Hunt talk about how gratifying it was to win in Crawfordsville a year ago. Nahrig is on to kick it off as we're tied now with 14:04 to play in the second quarter. And that kick will be taken about a yard deep in the end zone. And Wabash will stop DePauw shy of the 25-yard line, and that's where DePauw will take over 1st and 10.
Yeah, Green, a little hesitation there, deciding whether or not to bring it out. Ultimately he did. Maybe cringe for a second, but he's able to bring it back out across the 20-yard line. And I'll tell you, Chris, one of my favorite memories of any game that I've been able to be a part of was last year on the field. Matt Hunt, his brother Andy, after that connection, so just seeing Matt talk, to be in the middle of those two for the first Wabash, or for the first DePauw Bell win in 8 years was really a unique experience to interview those two right after that game. What a game it was, back and forth. Rice and Hunt, 2 amazing quarterbacks. It's so rare now to see 2 first-time starters in this game.
Matt Hunt a year ago rushed for 159 yards, 3 touchdowns, threw for 241. His younger brother Andy Hunt on the field for a 3rd year here for DePauw on 1st down and 10. Jake Lasky is the quarterback, the 5'9" senior out of West Lafayette. 3 career rushing touchdowns. And again, you look at his numbers, and you know it as well as anybody. Bill Lynch likes to have that athletic quarterback that can throw and can run. Lasky rushed for 134 yards earlier this year against Denison and 87 more against Allegheny. Now he throws. And that pass is incomplete.
Hell yeah, that's a catch.
And the coverage over there by Brian Parks.
Yeah, it looked like Grizzard had that for a moment. Nice job by Parks to break that up. You'll see here a bit of a low throw. Grizzard goes down. Oh, just sitting right there at the last moment, hits the turf. So, again, another crucial 3rd down early on in this game. No one seems to have 3rd and short. It's all 3rd medium, 3rd and long, and a big play here for DePauw backed up.
DePauw has 8 different wide receivers they can count on. Here it is 3rd down, and that pass is incomplete. And so all of a sudden, a momentum shift. It was intended for Jake Hagan. Again, Wabash went down early 7-0 in their own territory, went for it on 4th down. Ike James was stopped. That led to the DePauw touchdown, and now all of a sudden, the field position has shifted into the Little Giants' favor.
Absolutely. That's a huge, huge stop for Wabash coming off the touchdown to get DePauw 3 and out. You wonder, we've seen it from Murphy, we've seen it from Lasky a little bit, some inaccuracy. You wonder if the cold is playing a factor here, if it's the nerves from the big game. But both quarterbacks have missed on some relatively easy passes and open wide receivers.
Seago is back to punt again for DePauw, a high punt. And Downing will call for the fair catch at the 35-yard line. We'll head to a break. DePauw scored first. Wabash has matched. We're tied at 7 in Greencastle.
Well, let me introduce my other color commentary. It's going to be Chris Denari, who is a letterman from Wabash. And Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Dick. I haven't been around quite as long as Tom has been, but I've seen many a Monon Bell game, a great football game, and it's always good to have it here in Crawfordsville. President Salter, the Little Giants up 20-3 early. It's tied now. What happened?
Well, I think DePauw stole from the Wabash book. That's our kind of comeback, and here DePauw did it to us. So we'll just have to wait for the second half.
I'm glad I'm a little older now, Brad. That was 30-plus years ago. My chance to be a part of the Monon Bell rivalry with Brad Wochomurka. I'm Chris Denari. So glad to be with you for the 124th edition, our first telecast here on Fox Sports Indiana. As Wabash has the football back on 1st and 10. That's Ike James out to the 30-yard line. You know, so great to be a part of this rivalry. And you and I have known each other a long time. And as you said, so many friends. When you go to Wabash, whether you go to DePauw, you work with people. It's one of the neat rivalries in all of sports.
It really does make it special to interact with people, you know, during, as a student, as an athlete, and then afterwards professionally. It just makes the rivalry so special. But you looked great there. I mean, you haven't aged a day.
lot of hair there. A lot of hair back in the 80s.
Hey, you still got the hair. That's good.
James is wrapped up at the 30. Set up a 3rd down and long now for the Little Giants.
Yeah, Wabash had a holding penalty on that punt before we went to break, and that set him back a little bit. So again, field position key right here. And now again, 3rd and medium, big play for both of these teams here. DePauw trying to gain a little momentum back right now in favor of Wabash.
Ike James is a sophomore. He played last year at St. Joseph's in Rensselaer. Not only did the football team disband, there's no more St. Joseph's College. And so James, who was recruited by Wabash, is now with Wabash as Rashawn Jones is stopped. That'll be no gain in a punting situation for Wabash.
Great job by the DePauw defense coming up to shut down that pass play right there. You'll see it coming over the middle. Jones, a smaller guy, but a very quick wide receiver, but just nowhere to run.
Brody Good, the 5'9" sophomore out of Avon, number 43, made the stop, and now Alex Marr is on again to punt. Wabash with 116 total yards. DePauw has 93, and that punt is against the wind, taken by Andy Hunt. Hunt gets across the 40 and wrapped up.
Again, so good field position for DePauw, and now the Tigers going with the wind at their back. Didn't work out that first series of the second quarter. We'll see if Lasky is able to go to the air, a little more success here. And you know, we're still sort of waiting for that big play from Andy Hunt. Touched the ball there on the punt return. We'll see if, again, maybe Lynch goes to him early on this drive to try to get him involved, or relies more on the legs of Lasky the way they had the last few possessions.
Artie Akiwa, sophomore out of Crown Point, Indiana, made the stop for Wabash, and members of the Sphinx Club of Wabash College. Again, Wabash, 28 miles to the north, all-male institution, a co-ed institution here in DePauw, has made for a lot of fun in this rivalry over the years. He's hit on the pass. It's intended for Hunt. It's incomplete. Coverage by Brian Parks.
Yeah, Hunt's not happy. We'll have to see here what happens. It looked like he had a step for sure, and then didn't take the best angle to the ball at the end, I thought. But let's watch the replay, and you'll see the pressure by Bishop coming off right away, too. Oh, hit Lasky right as he threw. He is quick. And Hunt, I don't know if he lost that in the sun, just misjudged it a little bit. He clearly had a step, but went one step too far inside instead of taking that deeper where the ball was thrown.
Bishop Rhodes with 8.5 sacks on the year. Nearly had the sack of Lasky on first down. 2nd and 10 DePauw. And they go to Ayers, who makes the catch. He has the first down. He beat Brian Parks to the ball.
That's a great job by Ayers. We saw Lasky try that back shoulder throw earlier in the afternoon in the first quarter, and that time he hits on it perfectly. Ayers able to stop, turn, make the catch, use the body, and fight for the first down yard. It's a big play there for DePauw, who had been shut out the last couple of series.
DePauw's only loss this year to Wittenberg. Wabash also lost to Wittenberg, as well as Ohio Wesleyan in the North Coast Athletic Conference. Lasky on first down a few yards. And as you look at this, Matt Hunt played his final collegiate game a year ago. If DePauw would win today to finish 9-1 and second in the North Coast Athletic Conference, there's still a shot that they could go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think the RPI and the Sagarin probably are easier to figure out than things like the Division III playoff selections, especially for an at-large. But DePauw does have a shot. They need a win here, maybe a convincing one, and then some help. So certainly a lot on the line for the Tigers besides just the Monon Bell.
Nowhere to go for James Deaton, and sets up a third down. We've seen both of these teams in, as you said, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, third down situations.
Absolutely. Another key one coming up here, because a chance to drive deeper into field and play field position. I think you get a first down here, then you're probably in 4-down territory for Bill Lynch in the Tigers. And again, a little momentum with Wabash right now. DePauw trying to flip that. So we'll see. Maybe this is an opportunity to get Andy Hunt involved.
Andy Hunt is in the slot here to the near side. Jake Hagan is out to the left. It's intended for Hunt. He has the catch, and he has a DePauw first down.
And that's the kind of throw that we haven't seen really any quarterback be able to connect on yet this afternoon. Very accurate, though. Hunt able to get the separation on the out route. They get their playmaker involved. He picks up the first down, and now DePauw in 4-down territory for sure and driving.
Andy Hunt was also a high school hockey player. When Bill Lynch recruited him to join his brother Matt, there was a thought that he might go and play club hockey, but they were able to convince him to come to DePauw. He's been an outstanding wide receiver on first down and penalty flag, and a motion penalty against DePauw.
Yeah, a little bit of movement up front there.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 72 of the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
You hate to see that after you pick up a big first down. Now you're set back 5 yards. We mentioned earlier, DePauw, one of the least penalized teams in the nation. First one of the afternoon on the Tigers, and that'll put them in 1st and 15.
Ball in Wabash territory, inside 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. If you're just tuning in, DePauw scored first. Wabash has answered. We're tied at 7. You constantly hear the ringing of the Monon bell on the DePauw sideline. They won it last year after 7 straight Wabash wins, a run by Lasky.
Yeah, don't adjust your TV sets, right? It's nothing inside. It's just the bell ringing down on the DePauw sideline. It will continue to do that all afternoon. Whoever has that bell, it's a constant during game day during the Monon Bell Classic.
Brock Heffron made the stop for Wabash. 5'11" junior, another Arizona kid out of Chandler. He's had 2 interceptions this year, and here we are on 2nd and 11. Running back is Deaton, behind the quarterback Lasky. 4 wide receivers. Ayers is here to the near side. And Lasky looks to Ayers, and it's broken up, and that's Parks.
Yeah, I think that one telegraphed just a little bit. Right as the snap, Lasky started looking that way. Parks made a nice play. You also had, let's see, from the outside linebacker position, yeah, you had Bishop Ayers, or Rose rather, coming over too. That would have been a tough catch, and even had it been a catch, would have gone for a minimum gain.
Brian Parks coming in, 20 career pass breakups. Add another one for the senior out of Indianapolis and Arsenal Tech High School. Another 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 11 for the Tigers. Lasky pressure. And that's going to be a pass interference call. Now the question is, was the pass catchable?
Yeah, we'll see. I like that call initially, Chris, because the safety rather walked up, and that left Ayers one-on-one on the outside right at the snap of the football. So I love the decision to go there to the one-on-one matchup, but you're right, was this ball catchable? They're going to discuss that now.
Wabash had the pressure coming from the outside. Henry Weber Hunt.
That's a tough one right there. I mean, Ayers is 6'4", so the definition of catchable might be a little bit different than a smaller wide receiver.
It's number 2. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So a big penalty inside the red zone against Wabash, and Brian Parks gives DePauw 1st and 10.
I do love DePauw, though, taking advantage of that matchup. It was true one-on-one on the outside. You saw it when the ball was snapped. Love the decision to go to Ayers. Do I think he would have caught the ball? Probably not, Chris, but was it catchable? The referees deemed that it was, so that's a huge penalty, a big break for DePauw, and a tough one for Wabash there, as they would have had DePauw really thinking of what to do there on 4th and long.
The line of scrimmage was the 27. Grant Henderson, the referee. They will spot the football now just outside the 10-yard line. And so 1st down and 10 for DePauw, with a chance to regain the lead here in Greencastle.
Got Deaton in the backfield with Lasky. Haven't seen him touch the ball much this afternoon.
2 tight ends now for DePauw. In motion is Hunt, and Deaton is wrapped up for a gain of about 1.
That was dangerous right there. The snap dropped and the exchange a little shaky from Deaton, who was hit right away. That could have had disaster written all over it. Nice job by Deaton just to hang on to the football.
Brett Dietz is the offensive coordinator for DePauw, a veteran coaching staff that Bill Lynch has assembled in his 2nd tour of duty here in Greencastle. 1 season back in 2004, he was the head coach, then off to Indiana. A couple of years in the administration athletically at Butler, his alma mater. Now back coaching the Tigers, and up top, that pass is complete, and it's a touchdown to Jake Hagan.
Wow, what a catch by Hagan. Goes up to get the ball, hangs on to it, I believe, over the Wabash defender. That ball was thrown a little bit low for a fade, and just a phenomenal play by the wide receiver Hagan to hang on and to get a foot in bounds and give DePauw the lead.
6th touchdown reception of the year for Hagan, his 13th career, and the senior out of Cardinal Ritter High School in Indianapolis has a Monon Bell touchdown.
Yeah, and in these days, the NFL, Chris, what's a catch, what's not? I think that would have passed all the tests there. Got the foot in bounds as well. That's a phenomenal effort and play. What a catch by Hagan, and you know what? That was a great throw by Lasky. That was perfect. Well done by DePauw.
11th touchdown pass of the year for Lasky. Tanner on for the extra point, and that kick is good. And the DePauw Tigers come right back. They score on a 10-yard pass play from Jake Lasky to senior Jake Hagan. The Jakes make a connection, and it's 14-7 DePauw in Greencastle. DePauw is back on top, 14-7, as Jake Lasky finds Jake Hagan from 10 yards out. And the Tigers here in Greencastle lead 14-7. We're at Blackstock Stadium. The field is also named after Nick Morosis, the longtime DePauw coach who continues to volunteer as a staff assistant for Bill Lynch, and I know you know Coach Nick very well. You played for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Love my time here at DePauw playing for Coach Nick. Just an all-time great here. And a funny story, before the game, I saw Coach Nick back behind the stadium, and he looks at me, and you know, Coach Nick calls everyone Chief, says, "Hey, Chief, I can't find my sideline credential. I got to call my wife. You think they'll let me in?" And I say, "Nick, just point to the scoreboard and tell them there's my credential. And if they need anyone to ask, tell them just come to me, and I'll tell them to let you on the sideline." So classic Coach Nick. You got to love it, baby. That's what he used to say, and you got to love that man.
Jeremy Nutter back to kick off for the 2nd time for DePauw, and that's Downing that fields it inside the 5. He has some running room across the 20, 25, and he's met head on by Connor Perkins, who makes the stop. And it's a 14-7 DePauw lead. For more on the longtime coach, Nick Morosis, here's Jeremiah Johnson. JJ?
Coach Nick, 80 years old. He said a little bit later this year he's got a special reunion. He was an IU assistant coach on the Rose Bowl team. And another story about him having to not have his credential or have to be escorted out. A couple of weeks ago, a cold practice, rain. Coach Lynch was like, you know, I think Coach Nick needs to get out of here. He's 80 years old. I don't want him to be out here in this bad weather. And he didn't really want to go. And he eventually just had to make him leave the practice facility, leave the stadium. Coach Lynch told me some freshmen looked at him with eyes wide open. They said, "You're kicking out the guy that's name's on the stadium?"
Well, sometimes you got to make sure he stays healthy for the 124th Monon Bell game. That's Ryan Price that knocked that pass away. 2nd down and 10 Wabash.
Coach Nick, just for so long, was DePauw football, and I think my biggest regret was not that we didn't win the Bell game my senior year, but that we didn't win it in Coach Nick's last game, unfortunately. So what a tremendous individual, a great coach, and to see him around the program and doing what he's doing, look at him there, just into the game every play. A tremendous, tremendous individual.
I mean, so many great coaches in the rivalry. I think about Wabash, Stan Parrish, Greg Carlson, and that pass is complete. Baresh has it, and that's a Wabash first down. Now, they're going to say that he was down. The DePauw players are saying that it should be Tiger football, but they'll say Baresh was down. 1st and 10, Little Giants at their own 41.
This was a great catch by Baresh. Krupe got a hand in there on it, but that was very, very close. Let's take a look here. DePauw may have a beef. Yeah, that looked like that was falling. No replay at the Division III level, but that should have been DePauw football.
Avant, he and Ike James split the running back duties for Wabash.
Yeah, we'll take one more look, and you'll see Baresh, because Krupe did get a hand on that ball. It's hard to kind of tuck it away and secure, and tough to see from that angle. I think that first angle, though, showed that the ball was out. And if you're DePauw here, and they did just on this first down play, you pick it up, you move on. There's no replay. You can't let that get you down. A nice job on that last play. And for Wabash, take advantage of the gift and see what you can do on offense.
And that was Zach Williams that had the football, but it stays with Wabash. Talking to Don Morrell early in the week, I asked him, how do you decide, Avant or James? And he said, they really work it out among themselves as that pass is complete. And that's Kirby Cox. A 5'9" senior out of Indianapolis makes the catch. And now 3rd and short for the Little Giants. He said they really work it out, and as you said, they sort of alternate series.
Yeah, they really do. You look at the stat sheet and you think, why would anyone else even play or need to play with Ike James? But Avant's really a nice complement, a nice player in his own right, and they do really split time evenly and depending on the scenario. So, again, another big 3rd down coming up here for Wabash near midfield.
And the one thing that DePauw wants to do is take away the big play from Wabash. Avant had an 80-yard run last week against Allegheny. He's had a 63-yard touchdown against Worcester as James has it, and James fights his way close to a Wabash first down inside DePauw territory.
And that's what extra muscle and size will do for you on initial contact. That is not a first down, and James able to plow through the defender and lurch forward for the first down. Great play by Ike James. That's why he's out there on those 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 scenarios, and Wabash gets a huge first down.
Clock ticks inside 7 minutes. That's Don Morrell, the 2nd-year head coach, a 4-year assistant for the Little Giants. Such great tradition since the mid-70s. Wabash has had one losing record. That was in 1990. They've been a dominant Division III program, a multi-year champion in the North Coast Athletic Conference. The pass is complete. Rashawn Jones has it, and a penalty flag, and that may be a personal foul against the Tigers.
Yeah, that's a bad play right there after the whistle. Again, a team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes and commit a lot of penalties, and we'll wait and see. It certainly looks like that's what that is. Nice job going down to get that one by Jones. You'll see he had to pluck it right off the turf.
Yeah, that's a late hit. That was David Corey coming in.
We're talking about this for a little bit, but Morrell's standing right there. He's not screaming and yelling yet.
Well, the question would be, is it a targeting call?
Right, because he did make contact with the head. And clearly the runner was down. Was it sort of in the normal course of trying to make a play? Was he already jumping at him? We'll see what the officials decide here. This could be a big 15 yards. Well, I don't actually think that's a late hit. I think the question is, you're right, Chris, is it a targeting? Did he hit him in the head? I mean, he was already moving in to make the tackle as Jones was falling to the ground. And they're really taking a long, hard look at this. Last time they held it up, they decided to stick with the penalty, the pass interference down at the other end. And we'll see what they've decided here.
There's no foul for targeting.
And I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, you saw that replay again. You put it in normal speed too. Definitely wasn't a late hit. He's fallen down. The kid's already started his dive, the defender. I think that's a good job to pick that up.
And again, here at the Division III level, while we're here on Fox Sports Indiana, no replay mechanism that the officials or a replay center can look at it.
Absolutely. And I don't blame Don Morrell for being a little bit upset. You throw the flag, stick with the flag. I certainly would do the same thing. But I think after the officials got together, they did the right thing. They picked up that flag. But still, nice gain in on first down. Great catch there to make it 2nd and short for the Little Giants.
Murphy is the quarterback. Has thrown for over 1,200 yards on the year. 2nd and short. He'll go through the air again. And that pass is complete. It's Ryan Thomas, and he has the first down. And this is big for Wabash to get Ryan Thomas back. Oliver Page a year ago had a big Monon Bell game. He was injured with a broken ankle in game 2. Thomas was injured in game 4. So Weston Murphy has had a very inexperienced receiving core for most of the year.
Yeah, he's throwing it to a tight end. He's throwing it to a number 1 running back, converted to more of a receiving running back. And he's done a really, really nice job. But his wide receivers have been smaller targets. So getting Thomas back is huge.
And that helps set up the running game with Ike James on first down. And a nice job by DePauw to bottle him up. Again, James through the first 9 games, averaging 6 yards per carry on first down. And that's the ground and pound combo. James up the middle, Avant on the outside.
Yeah, these guys really do complement each other nicely. And you saw James there again, just kind of fighting for the extra yards. 17 touchdowns. I mean, that's a lot when you get to the Division III level, especially in just 9 games, over 1,200 yards. These two guys really complement each other nicely, and they've combined for a nice job in this series for Wabash as well.
And he has the Wabash touchdown today, his 18th of the year. James gets the call again to the 30-yard line, but a 3rd and long situation now for the Little Giants as we approach the 5-minute mark of the second quarter.
I mentioned it earlier for DePauw, getting just gains of 1, 2, 3 yards. That's really, really net positive for their defense against a guy like Ike James. His 3-4 defense, which what a great story by Bill Lynch. They moved after years from a 4-3 to this 3-4 simply because it's easy to recruit. There's not many big defensive linemen that you can recruit and have depth at the Division III level. So let's take advantage of the smaller athletes we have at linebacker and switch to a 3-4.
3rd and long, Wabash. Murphy out of the pocket. Murphy will be hit. Murphy will be short of the first down. Coming over to make the stop is inside linebacker Zach Williams for DePauw.
Yeah, and that's a great job by Williams because he came off a block to make that tackle. It looked for a minute. It looked early on like Murphy wouldn't have a shot at the first down. He had a blocker downfield right here, and then Williams just eluding that block and the inside man from his own team and was able to make the tackle to get 4th and short.
And Wabash is going to attempt a field goal here. Skylar Nehrig is 5 of 11 on the year. They'll spot the ball, and they're just going to throw it wide open. Is Kirby Cox, and Cox has the first down.
Wow, what a play, what a deception. Wabash, I think in the substitution, will have to take a look at this, but just left a guy on the field. And I got to tell you, Chris, I was shocked they were going to try to kick that field goal into the wind. Yeah, absolutely. This is long, and look, there's nobody over there.
Kirby Cox is hiding along the sideline, that white jersey uncovered as Austin Nightingale, the holder, the backup quarterback, completes his 6th pass of the year.
Oh, that's amazing. What a great play call there. Perfect area of the field to do it. Wabash with new life on this series. Great job by Don Morrell, and even better execution. Sometimes those trick plays are hard to pull off. Great job by the Little Giants.
James is the running back, and James nowhere to go, stopped at the 15-yard line. Well, all week long, we knew that this would be a matchup of an outstanding running game for Wabash and an outstanding rush defense for DePauw. I mean, Brad, coming in, the Tigers giving up just 60 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah, top 10 in the nation, and you've seen the stoutness of that DePauw defense, but it's been some key pass plays, some big chunk plays earlier in the game from Wabash. There's been some really nice pickups on 3rd and short. Here's the field goal again. Let's watch. You can see over there, amongst all the white jerseys, no one can see him. 14 over there hiding on the sideline. Great execution by Wabash.
James has it again, and James, a second effort, gets down to the 12-yard line. And 3rd down and long now for the Little Giants. Again, you saw Kirby Cox go over. Weston Murphy left the field. Cox was going with him and stopped just inbounds.
And Chris, that's the advantage of being able to dress, over 100 kids there in white jerseys on the sidelines. You can really lose them in the scrum of the white jerseys over there. What great execution by Wabash on that. And now again, another big 3rd and long here in this game here for the Little Giants.
Just 25 yards on 11 carries today for James, who comes in having rushed for 1,200 yards, and a timeout taken by DePauw. So already in this rivalry, you see so many strange plays. We saw a fumble recovery in the end zone by a lineman for a touchdown. Now we see a fake field goal that the pass is complete to an uncovered Little Giant.
Yeah, and we talked about Nick Morozis earlier. That was always a hallmark, I think, of his DePauw teams. What will they pull out of the hat? What trick plays will they do? We've seen Wabash do, succeed in several trick plays over the years. So you're right. It's either a trick play, it's a crazy play, it's something you're not expecting, and we're not even a half into this game. And you mentioned the fumble recovery on offensive lineman, that field goal fake right there. So the Monon Bell certainly has it all, and it's fun to watch when these teams are executing on plays like that.
1985 will flash back in this Monon Bell rivalry. The Little Giants and DePauw back on November the 9th, and we had a dog come onto the field.
So all kinds of trick plays and chicanery and what have you during this Monon Bell Classic. I don't know if that was was that a DePauw dog, a Wabash dog, a stray dog maybe from here in Greencastle, but
it was a 28-8 win that day in Greencastle by the Wabash Little Giants. Again, Wabash has won the last 4 here. DePauw's last win here against the Little Giants, 2007. They won 24-21. 3rd down and 8. Murphy has some time, and that pass is short. It's incomplete. And now will Don Morell go for it, or will he bring in his kicker, Skylar Nayrig?
You continue, and the kicking team will come on. You can bet DePauw will be watching closely over on the sideline there. Make sure no trick plays again. But what a great job that time of pressuring the quarterback by Chandler Nicholson of DePauw. DePauw started to get after Murphy just a little bit more here in the second quarter, and that time the pressure led to the poor throw by Murphy in the 4th down.
Nightingale will spot the ball. It'll be a 30-yard attempt for Nayrig, who is 4 of 5 between 20 and 39 yards this year. And it's a fake. Nightingale looks. It's complete to Panola. He's out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Make it the 5. Will it be enough for a first down?
Wow. Going back to the well. I don't think I've ever seen that. 2 fake field goals on the same series, but does he have enough for the first down? Again, kicking into the wind, you can't blame him for going for the first down, but this is short, I would think.
They have marked it at the 5, and they are saying first down Wabash.
Wow, not even a measurement.
So the Little Giants pulled 2 tricks out of the playbook on the same series, and Bill Lynch is wondering why there's not a measurement.
Yeah, I thought, looking at where the sticks were, they had to get just inside the 5-yard line, but you got to give credit to DePauw and Don Morell, or the Wabash and Don Morell. 2 fake field goals for first downs.
And now they give the ball to James. James fights his way. Already has scored on a 1-yard touchdown. Wrestled down at the 2. 2nd and goal now for the Little Giants as they look to tie the score here in the final 2 minutes of the first half.
Have you seen that? 2 fakes on the same series?
No, not at all. I mean, there are some crazy plays in college football in this Monon Bell rivalry, but I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
Well, and how about executing them too? Here's the fake again. This is just a simple rollout into the flat. And easy pass to complete.
You got that left foot down at the 5. This is the 16th play of the drive. James. 2nd effort, James in the end zone for a 2nd time.
Wow, what power by Ike James. That looked like a phenomenal play by DePauw, by Zach Williams coming up to make a tackle for loss in the backfield, but you forget how big Ike James is, and he plows through Williams into the end zone. What a drive, what a sequence of events for Wabash, now with an opportunity to tie this up.
Wabash had an 18-play, 75-yard drive earlier in the season against Worcester. James caps a 16-play drive here, and they're an extra point away from tying the score with a great 2nd effort from Mike James. Nayrig's kick is on, and it's good, and we're tied at 14, and this game has lived up to everything we hoped it would be.
Oh, this is amazing. We spend a minute talking about the trick plays, the breaks, what you need, and here are both of the fake field goals that we saw on that series for Wabash. The first one, this one's great, because this is really the definition of trick play. A guy that you thought was off the field, sub, just stayed over there. They were able to throw it over for a first down and keep the drive alive. Now this one's interesting. A little more basic, roll out, throw it, but where was he out of bounds? That was the 6-yard line, maybe to the 5. That was very close. Surprised they didn't measure that one, but regardless, not only to call 2 fake field goals, but to actually execute on both, Chris. Phenomenal job at Wabash.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines. More on the fake field goals. Here's JJ.
So I was talking with Brent Harris, the outstanding sports information director for Wabash, and he said, I walked into Coach Morrell's office on Sunday, 6 days ago, and all he was doing was showing me fake field goal attempts. After they completed the first one, he came to me and he said, they've been practicing that one all week. After the second one, I said, that one too? He said, yes. He's been all about fake field goals this week. Practice paying off.
Don Morrell was the coach at Laverne in California, his alma mater, and said, you know, I could have stayed there as long as I wanted. He and his wife moved to Indiana, and now he's the head coach of the Wabash Little Giants.
And you couldn't ask, you know, for not just great coaches, but nicer men and leaders of kids and students in both Don Morrell and Bill Lynch. These guys are built for coaching at these 2 institutions. Great individuals and great coaches.
And a kick taken by DePauw, and that is Logan Green. And Green gets to about the 23-yard line with 53 and 4/10 seconds to play. And the football for DePauw were tied at 14. In spending time with both coaches earlier in the week, I was fortunate. Was on the campus in Crawfordsville at Wabash, met Bill Lynch here in Greencastle, and both talked about the rivalry. And what Don Morrell told me is with the success of both of these programs, and especially in Crawfordsville, he goes, there's an inherent pressure that you face as a student every day. Both schools very demanding academically, but there's a pressure to live up to what each of these programs have developed. And for him to take these chances, it shows that as a coach, he's willing to do that for his team.
Yeah, I mean, he told me that when they lost the bell last year, not only did it ruin the week, the month, it ruined Christmas. And it takes a lot to ruin Christmas, but there's a lot of pressure to bring that back, and he's showing the guts there on those 2 fake field goal passes.
Lopez is the running back. And I guess the question will be, what will DePauw do? Will they just let the clock run and we'll head to the locker room tied at 14?
It looks like they will. I thought, Chris, with the wind at their back, that they might try to air it out a little bit, those big wide receivers, but again,
that's a
difficult.
Beautiful shot. We have a drone flying high above Blackstock Stadium here in Greencastle, expecting a crowd of somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 today for the 124th edition of the Monon Bell game. 28 miles apart, Crawfordsville and Greencastle. They've been doing this a long time. So glad we're happy to present it to you today on Fox Sports Indiana. On second down, Lopez with 9 seconds to play, and that's going to do it at the end of the first half as we played 30 minutes here in Greencastle, and we're knotted up at 14. DePauw twice has had the lead. Wabash twice has come back and tied it. Ike James has a couple of touchdowns this afternoon, and the game is tied at 14, Wabash and DePauw.
And this is good for both these teams. You don't see many comebacks in this game, so you don't want to head to the locker room down by a touchdown or more. We thought this one would be fairly even, Chris, and it so far has played to script perfectly. These 2 teams tied at the half.
Jeremiah Johnson with DePauw coach Bill Lynch.
I'm not sure you'd have expected to be anything different than tied going into halftime when these 2 teams get together. They have the momentum after those 2 fake field goals. What do you tell your team?
We just got to keep playing. I mean, we've talked all week that this game's going to be, you know, there's peaks and valleys in this game. But, you know, both sides are going to make runs. You just got to hang in there and keep playing. I think our defense is really hanging in there really well, and hey, we got to do a better job, but give them credit. They executed 2 fake, field goals, and that's not easy.
You said the key would be slowing down their running game. You're a good run defense. Are you happy with that aspect?
Yeah, shoot, yes. We're going in 14-14. So, it's a clean game and not a bunch of turnovers or penalties, so it's going to be a good second half.
It feels like a high-quality game, not a Division III game. This feels like an intense atmosphere.
Yeah, there's a lot of intensity. It's a great rivalry, and we just got to come back out and keep playing our game.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Bill Lynch has coached at Butler, Ball State, and Indiana as a head coach. He said there is nothing like the Wabash-DePauw rivalry, the 124th meeting between these 2 schools in the Monon Bell. Wabash and DePauw tied at 14. Our halftime show is next from Greencastle. You're watching today on Fox Sports Indiana.
We're all tied at 14, Blackstock Stadium, Greencastle, Indiana, in the Monon Bell Classic, the 124th. Great play, great drive there just before halftime for Wabash as the Little Giants tie the game with DePauw. Once again, should be an outstanding second half, but at halftime, I want to share a little bit of additional information about these two outstanding institutions. Let us start with Wabash College.
At Wabash, student athletes strike the right balance between scholarship and sportsmanship.
We get guys that are serious students and they pick Wabash College for the academic challenge and the athletic challenge we present.
Wabash has a long history of athletes named to academic All-America teams, as well as NCAA postgraduate scholarship winners. And it's no accident. Wabash designs classroom experiences grounded in the liberal arts.
Starting with my freshman year, the college did a great job of formatting the curriculum so that we had classes that were completely discussion-based. It's not a place we're going to experience a 200-person survey class. It's a place where you're going to be in an environment, a close environment with your professor with 8, 9, 10, at the most 20 other students. And in those classes, I was able to explore these deep questions, really come to a conclusion about who I was as a person, how I viewed life, what my worldview was.
The Wabash education looks beyond the 4 years on campus. Faculty and coaches alike teach responsibility as a means to success, as students, as athletes, and as future men.
Our process is applying everything from track and field and Wabash in the classroom to life. We're not trying to build just All-Americans or conference championships and those things. I want to build great men, great husbands, great uncles, great brothers. I want people to see a difference when they come out of our program.
It's incredible when I see our student athletes graduate from Wabash College prepared by what they've learned every day at this institution.
Wabash men succeed, both in the classroom and on the field.
Touchdowns in the first half, 19 now on the season, tying for third in Wabash College history. More on the DePauw Tigers after this, right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Blackstock Stadium, Greencastle, Indiana, on Nick Morose's field. We're all tied at 14 between Wabash and DePauw. When games were played on a home field, this series is about as close as it could be. 55, 54, and 8 is the overall record. The home team with an advantage. If Wabash is to win here at DePauw, that will be exactly a 500 record. So you heard a little bit more about Wabash College in the last segment of this halftime show. How about we check in on the DePauw Tigers?
Ralph Waldo Emerson told us that to know even one life has breathed easier because you existed is to have succeeded. By that definition, DePauw has succeeded 100,000 times over.
And while I loved DePauw when I was a student, I love DePauw more today because of the way it has changed.
We should approach them with confidence in our values. Values of democracy, values of market economics, values that have undoubtedly improved the world and our country's place within it.
We must come together because we are stronger together, and I have faith that if we can do that, then we can continue to see progress for many years to come.
I encourage you to find your light, and if you're out of it just a little bit, I hope you jump and stand right in the center of it. But yeah, just
Today's DePauw is more diverse, more open, more in tune with what America is and can become.
123rd edition of the Monon Classic.
DePauw has been a beacon of hope and opportunity that has changed countless lives and continues to change lives every day. And our good and important work will never finish.
Great to be able to share some of what makes Wabash and DePauw so special. This was a special play. Jake Lasky to Jake Hagan. The touchdown gave DePauw a 14-7 lead. We're tied at 14 at halftime.
Here are the stats. Wabash has rushed for just 78 yards. They average nearly 240. They've thrown it for 115 yards. Really, the numbers are surprising when you look at what DePauw's defense has been able to do on the ground, but Wabash has had success throwing the ball.
They really have, Chris. They had a couple of big plays and then a couple of really key third down passes. And, you know, I think if you're Don Morrell, you would take 8 for 16 for 86 yards from Jake Lasky in the first half. I think if you're Bill Lynch and you told him, hey, Ike James is only going to run the ball for 33 yards on 15 carries in the first half, he'd take that as well. And, well, here we are, tied at 14.
Well, this is the reason they had the 17-play drive. They had 2 fake field goal trip plays.
That's amazing. On the same series, and with just in a matter of moments of each other, that first one a real good substitution disguise, the second one the rollout, the throw here, just picking up the first down, and then resulting in a nice touchdown run from James where he bounced off the tackler. Great job by Don Morrell, and even better execution by the Little Giants.
Wabash had completed 67% of its fourth down plays this year. Add 2 more, tied at 14. A great overhead look at Blackstock Stadium on the campus of DePauw University in Greencastle, the site for the 124th Monon Bell game. Tied at 14, Wabash and DePauw. Before halftime, or at the end of the first half, we heard from head coach Bill Lynch. Now Jeremiah Johnson with Wabash coach Don Morrell.
Coach Morrell looking like a genius there, back-to-back fake field goal attempts. How much did you work on those in practice, and happy are you with the execution?
We didn't know if we were going to have our kicker, so we had to do something, and they let him play, but we went ahead and ran the fakes.
What's the momentum like? What was the vibe inside the locker room being able to tie the game up?
Great vibe, and I think the key to this half, somebody is going to commit a giant turnover. It's not going to be us, okay? But turnovers, and then I think the first team to score in this half has a big advantage too.
We talked about the running game. Are you thinking you could get even more on the ground than you got in the first half?
Traditionally, we run the ball for a small amount in the first half, and teams wear down, and we do better in the second half, so that's what we're hoping for.
Keep an eye on that. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Don Morrell talked about not having their kicker, Skylar Nehrig, and one of the reasons Skylar and some of his buddies from Wabash tried to steal the Monon Bell. That's a long history in this rivalry between Wabash and DePauw. If you have the bell, you protect the bell. If you don't have the bell, you try to get it. And they were not successful. And so Skylar Nehrig, there was some question if he would be able to kick in this game.
Well, so much underlying that story there, Chris. I mean, first off, imagine if Wabash goes on to win this game, and a big reason is because they have to run 2 fake field goals because they don't think they're going to have their kicker because he almost stole the Monon Bell. That'll go down in lore for Monon Bell history. But you look at the heist attempt and everything. This is what a tremendous story. And both coaches have said, you know what, nothing gets hurt, no property destructed. We understand it's in the nature of the rivalry. These 4 kids from Wabash had that thing rolled out. out of the Lilly Center here at DePauw. There was a pressure sense underneath it so that the authorities came and caught him, but they really did their research. It was a good heist attempt in the history of this rivalry.
Back in the 1980s, there was no pressure.
No.
We didn't have anything like that.
No, you got it off the pedestal and out the door.
Was gone.
It was gone.
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Remember, Wabash won the toss and deferred to start the game, so Jeremy Nutter will kick for the Tigers, who are in the black, Wabash in the white. Downing takes the kick at the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He's out to the 35 plus, as Wabash will have good field position, and they'll work with the win here in the third quarter. Now, by deferring, that's what Don Morrell wanted to do, but Bill Lynch was clear to me on Monday, as much about the wind at this facility as anything, and DePauw will have the wind in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that could be big. So a huge third quarter for Wabash right now to try to take advantage of the wind at their back. And going back to Morrell's interview with JJ, I love the confidence, I love the approach. It's not the cliched interview. He tells you exactly what's going to happen in the second half, exactly what his team needs to do, how they play it out. I like that perspective from Don Morrell.
Avant is the running back as Weston Murphy on first down. He throws it, and it's incomplete over the head of Rashawn Jones, second down for the Little Giants. Avant rushed for 41 yards, James for 33 yards in the first half. Murphy is now 10 of 17 for 96 yards through the air.
Yeah, and again, just high on that attempt there. We'll see if kind of coming out of the locker room again, maybe the cold for both of these quarterbacks. They each struggled with accuracy early in the game, got better as the first half went on, so something to keep an eye on here in the second half.
They go to the air again. Murphy chased out of the pocket, and he will go down.
And DePauw brought the pressure that time, really brought the house off the edge. A great job. The first sack of the game for the Tigers.
26th sack of the year for DePauw. They've had 12 different players with a sack this year.
Yeah, you'll see Chandler Nicholson right here blows up the running back and able to get in there, one of a couple of Tigers that got a hand on Murphy for the sack.
And so now, Wabash third down, 15, just underway in the third quarter in Greencastle. All three pass plays. Murphy has time over the middle, and it's incomplete. It's broken up.
Murphy had time on that one in the pocket, went down the field, and looks like he had a man open in his favorite target, Ryan Thomas, but just couldn't come up with the catch. Some good coverage as well there, but nice pass protection from Wabash that gave the Little Giants a chance to complete that play.
And it was Hunter Seago breaking the pass up.
Seago's had a nice game in the secondary, coming up big on a couple of run plays, and now the pass break up there, got in front of it, in front of Thomas to break it up. So big stand there from DePauw.
Andy Hunt is back. He'll receive the punt at the 26-yard line, and he's got running room. Hunt gets to the outside, and there's a penalty flag as Hunt will be taken down. And a penalty flag on the field, coming over to make the stop for Wabash, Evan Jones.
Yeah, and that looked like it was going to be close to a block in the back, I think, on the as Hunt tried to turn the corner. And I'm going to guess based on where and when they threw the flag, that's what we're looking at. Again, field position crucial in this one. That's another penalty that's going to set DePauw back.
You talked about it in the first half. Both these teams.
There's no foul for an illegal block in the back. First down, DePauw.
Wabash averages less than 5 penalties per game, and as Brad mentioned in the first half, DePauw less than 4. They are third best in the NCAA in that category.
Yeah, I don't know how well they do in having officials throw the flag and pick it up, but clearly in this game, that's twice. And Don Morrell all the way out near the numbers on the far side of the field. I think that's exactly what he's yelling at the officials about. If you're going to throw the flag, call the penalty. That's twice in a short amount of time now that some big penalties potentially against DePauw have been picked up.
3 linemen up front defensively for Wabash: Lucas Bucina, Clay Fullenkamp, and Deontay Simpson. Linebackers: Henry Weberhunt, Evan Hansen, Brock Heffron, and Bishop Rhodes.
Morrell's really asking for the full explanation, and they gave it to him, and appear to have worked it out here, and we'll get back to play. But Don Morrell not happy about the flag being picked up.
Evan Hansen is a 3-year starter out of Carmel and Garin Catholic High School. 68 tackles this year. He anchors that defense for the Little Giants on 1st and 10. Lasky keeps it, and there's Hansen to make the tackle.
Yeah,
gain of a couple.
We'll have to see, Chris, if Lasky really kind of gets going with the legs here in the second half. He had the one big run on the touchdown drive for DePauw in the first half, but hasn't done much besides that. Got a little giant hurt down on the field.
It is number 4, Satchel Burton, another young man from Arizona, senior, 6'1", 32 tackles this year from his free safety position.
Yeah, that does not look good. And right away you saw several DePauw players actually in Wabash as well calling for the trainers from the Wabash sideline. Unfortunately for Wabash, it's a big loss too, because in the secondary they don't have a lot of size. Where they do is the safety position with Houston and Burton right there on the field, the 6'1", 193-pound senior. So that could be a pretty significant loss for Wabash if he in fact is done for the afternoon.
Both coaches have talked during the week about turnovers. You heard Don Morrell. The defenses have been good all year long. Wabash has forced 17 turnovers, DePauw 19. And DePauw, surprisingly, has turned it over 19 times. So they're even on the year in the turnover ratio. Wabash comes in +4.
Yeah, I think Bill Lynch would tell you they turned it over 19 times, and 18 of them were against Wittenberg.
Yeah.
In that game, just nothing went right for the Tigers. But so far, clean game on the turnover front here for both these teams. But you heard Don Morrell. It's not a matter of if, but when in this second half, and it's going to be big when it happens.
Wittenberg came on the road in back-to-back weeks and beat both DePauw and Wabash in Greencastle and Crawfordsville. Lasky has the first down. He fumbles the football, and let's see who has it. The ball is loose. Don Morrell talked about a turnover, and that ball was scooting free.
Wow.
And it looks like a big gain for DePauw as they recover the fumble.
Wow, unbelievable. Right as we're talking about it, you hear what Don Morrell said, and Lasky looked like that play was just about over. He's fighting for extra yards, and boom, the ball pops out. And fortunately for DePauw, not only do they recover, but they recover several yards downfield.
Nolan Ayers eventually came up with a loose ball. About 3 or 4 different players on both teams had a chance to pick it up.
Yeah, this is close. Not sure if we were able to tell right there. He looked like it was getting close to down, just fighting for extra yardage, and that could have been disastrous for DePauw. So still waiting on that first turnover, but really close right there for the Tigers.
And a lot of times this field turf is like glass, and the ball just sort of scoots, and that's what happened. But a first down for DePauw, now inside Wabash territory at the 43. Andy Hunt has some running room, gets to the 35, he's got a first down.
And that's why you get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Didn't look like Hunt would have a whole lot right there, but as he turned the corner, Chris, it basically became a punt return for him. That's what he does in the open field, makes guys miss. That's 2 big gainers in a row for the Tigers. Their offense is on the move. They really do need to get Hunt going here in the second half, even if just handing him the ball the way they did there, and a nice job of making several Wabash tacklers miss as he's able to pick up the first down.
And another little giant is down on the field as you look at the second effort by Andy Hunt. We knew we'd hear it from Bill Lynch, but also earlier in the week, Don Morrell had one word for Andy Hunt, and that was playmaker.
Yeah, he said he's the best receiver in the conference, bar none, when it comes to just the combination of hands and speed and playmaking ability. And Andy Hunt showing it right there. And Wabash, that's now 2 defensive players this series that have had to head to the sidelines because of an injury.
And that is Jacob Helmer. He is also the backup free safety behind Satchel Burton. So they have lost those 2 players at least for the time being.
Absolutely. That's going to really test the depth of this Wabash secondary now. 2 players the same position on the same series. But you know what? That's why you've got a big roster, a lot of experienced players over there, and someone else is going to get their shot now in the Monon Bell game.
First down and 10 DePauw. Ball at the Wabash 29. Daniel Lockey is the center for DePauw. The guards are Thomas Cunningham and Andrew Saunders. The tackles Nick LaChapelle and Jeremy Trudell. On first down and 10.
Oh,
and
wow.
there is Hansen coming in and wrestling Lasky to the ground.
Oh, something went wrong there on the offensive line for DePauw. Hansen, a lot of experience in this game. Really a key playmaker on the Wabash defense. He comes up and makes a huge play after DePauw had gotten chunk yardage on their last 2 plays. Look, I mean, Hansen's in there. Lasky's lucky he held on to the football.
Brad, we didn't mention his name in the first half, and now Hansen has his 4th sack of the year. He has 12.5 for his Wabash career. A 3-year starter, a junior out of Carmel.
Huge play after those 2 big DePauw plays and a couple of injuries. Wabash needed that.
Second down and long. Lasky keeps it. gain of about 2. And sets up a 3rd and long now for DePauw.
Yeah, 3rd and long, that was really the story of the first half for both of these teams. DePauw definitely out of field goal range right here, and probably you saw them in the first half do the same thing from this point of the field. Would look to do a little pooch punt here if they can't pick up a first down. But what gets interesting is if the Tigers can get maybe half of this yardage back and get inside the 30, maybe to the 25-yard line. So big play here for Lasky and the Tigers.
Again, they're operating against the wind. Lasky has time, puts it in the air. It's incomplete, over the top, and too tall for the receiver. That was Nolan Ayers, and 4th down now for DePauw.
Yeah, and that's a tough play, as it looks like the Tigers are going to punt like we thought. You know, you're throwing it up to a big receiver in double coverage, and one thing you haven't seen from Jake Lasky here this afternoon, maybe something short over the middle, intermediate routes, and part of that is because he struggles with those routes. He's not a very tall guy. He's a shorter quarterback, under 6 feet tall. It's difficult to see over that defensive line and complete those intermediate routes, those crossing plays. So most of what we've seen is out there on the sidelines down the field.
Tyler Downing is back, and he will come up and receive the punt on a short punt by Hunter Seago. And the Little Giants have their 2nd possession of the 3rd quarter. And we'll head to a break with 10:47 to play, tied at 14. The big sack by Evan Hansen, energizing the Little Giants defense here in Greencastle.
There are so many memorable Monon Bell moments. Let's take you back to 2001, a tie game, 14 seconds left. Jake Knott rolls around, heaves it towards the end zone, tipped ball. Ryan Short comes up with it. That snapped a 5-game DePauw win streak in the series. Wabash wins it 27-21. At that point, the series was DePauw 50, Wabash 49, 9 ties. But Brad, you were at that game as well.
Yeah, I was at that game, and I was actually in the radio booth my sophomore year at DePauw before I ended up switching and actually putting the pads on and playing football. And it's a good thing we don't have the audio of that game, because when Short came up with the ball, student broadcaster Brad Wochomurka just yelled, "Oh, bleep." And that was one that was lost for all time, probably for the better.
Ike James has the carry on 1st down. You know, that's very interesting, Brad. You had never played football until your junior year here at DePauw.
Yeah, it's a great thing about, I think, being a Division III athlete. You know, in high school, I was a baseball, basketball player, cross-country runner, came here to play baseball at DePauw. I played for a couple of years and, you know, finally decided to make the switch. Wasn't playing a lot on the baseball team and always wanted to try football. Became a wide receiver and was able to play in a couple Monon Bell games and play for Nick Morosis, and it was a lot of fun, You know, so many people are broadcasters after their career. You went the other way. Yeah.
You went broadcaster, and that's a sack. DePauw comes up with the stop. Kayvon Rahimi sacks Weston Murphy. And 3rd and long now for the Little Giants.
Yeah, big play there from DePauw. We've seen him start to get more and more pressure on Murphy, but not able to get to him yet, you know, and really bring him down. So that's a huge play for the Tigers. And again, 3rd and long for another one of these offenses.
2nd possession of the 2nd half for the Little Giants. And it's 3rd down and 12. Murphy now 10 of 18, 96 yards through the air on 3rd down. He'll step up in the pocket, throw it over the middle. It's incomplete. Intended for Kirby Cox, and a punting situation on 4th down for Wabash.
That's another one that's almost intercepted. Chandler Nicholson looked like he had a shot at that for DePauw, and then the pass almost completed. Some good time there to throw the football for the quarterback, Weston Murphy. But again, a big sack by DePauw. Neither one of these offenses seem to be able to get away from these 3rd and long scenarios, Chris, and that's something we'll have to keep an eye on the rest of this game.
Nicholson had a big week last week in the win against Canyon. He recovered a fumble, had an interception. Alex Marr, his punt will be short. No chance for Hunt to field, and it goes out of bounds, and DePauw will have its 2nd possession of the 2nd half.
Yeah, Chris, I think back to the story real quick. I think I figured out why they put me from the broadcast booth back onto the football field. When you're yelling profanities, it's usually an easy way to end the broadcast career. But you know, that game is just one of so many great moments in this historic rivalry. Whether it's, you know, late heroics like, you know, that game, or last year we saw the Hunt brothers connect in the final minute. Jordan Haverkamp's field goal several years back here at Blackstock Stadium to win it in the final moments. The trick plays, it's all of what adds to the lore, and everyone has their own kind of Monon memory or moment. Whether it's a play, it's a game, it's an individual. Just classic tales that add to this rivalry year after year.
First down and 10, Lasky for DePauw. They have it at their own 42. He's going to roll out of the pocket. He has some time. He throws it to the sideline. It's incomplete. Let's get an injury update on the sideline with Jeremiah Johnson.
We saw a couple of Wabash injuries on the last possession defensively. Number 4, Satchel Burton, hamstring injury, but his return is probable. Meanwhile, Jacob Helmer, right shoulder injury, he is out. Now, Burton, while his return is probable, he is not on the field right now, so we'll keep an eye on that Wabash defensive backfield.
So good news there that both guys look like they may be able to come back.
3 wide receivers. Ryan Walters is wearing number 29 for Wabash. He's out here matched up on the near side as a 3rd and long situation now for the Tigers.
Yeah, DePauw really just can't get anything going. Lasky had a couple of nice runs in the last possession there. Nothing, and still looking for a big pass play to Andy Hunt. It's been a couple of series since he's been able to connect on some of those outside routes to the taller wide receiver. So again, 3rd and long now for the Tigers.
Wabash has the veteran cornerbacks in Parks and Walters on the outside as Lasky looks up top, and it's incomplete. Good coverage by Parks. He was running stride to stride with Nolan Ayers. A year ago, we saw a shootout, 37-34, almost 1,000 yards in total offense. Today, here in Greencastle, it's the defense that is the story.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. We made mention of it at the top of the broadcast. 7 Monon Bell stars combined for the 2 quarterbacks last year. 0 going in for Murphy and Lasky, and maybe we're seeing that a little bit with these 2 offenses. But again, a lot of football left to be played, and a tie game, it should be a good rest of the way.
Seago back to punt, and he gets it away. It'll be a short kick again against the wind and get a Wabash bounce. Let's see where they spot it, probably about the 26-yard line. And that's where Wabash will have it. It's 3rd possession of the 3rd quarter. Still tied at 14 in the 124th Monon Bell Classic. Another Monon Bell memory, a flashback. It's Brad Wochomurka in your final game as a college athlete.
Yeah, I look pretty good there. See, if I had the field turf, I probably would still be running. It was wet. It was cold and misty and wet. Look, I'll probably say, oh, there we go, a little slip. But hey, that's all right. A few plays, I was able to get in and make some positive yardage. We don't have to get rid of the score up there. It was not a good day for DePauw, but it was fun. It was, I missed the days of the old mud. By the end of we practiced on the field. By the end of the season, this thing was shot. The field was just, all torn away. But it was fun to play in this game, and just be able to contribute was it was a memory of a lifetime, and certainly something I'll never forget.
Brad Wochomurka, DePauw alum. I'm Chris Denari, Wabash alum. Glad to be with you as a part of this 124th Monon Bell Classic. Jeremiah Johnson down on the sidelines. Weston Murphy on first down. Avan, nowhere to go. Loss of a couple. And second down and long. And you've seen this. We thought that Wabash had some momentum at the end of the first half, the 2 trick plays. But now it's turned into a slugfest here in the 3rd quarter.
It really has. And I think, the next team to maybe get 5 or 6 yards on first down would be doing themselves a big favor. Neither offense has been able to really get themselves in 2nd, 3rd, and manageable situations. The DePauw defense really stepping up against the run. James hasn't been a huge factor other than around the goal line.
Murphy, it's incomplete. It was intended for Rashawn Jones, and now 3rd and long for Wabash. You look at the score, even at 14. The stats are about even as well. Both teams have 10 first downs. Wabash has 186 total yards. DePauw 178. Remember, a year ago, they combined for 993.
Yeah, this is definitely different than the game was a year ago. The one similarity, though, a tight game right now, and right now anybody's ball game. So again, big 3rd and long here. We'll see what Don Morell and the Little Giants dial up.
Murphy chased out of the pocket. Murphy will be shy of a first down, and there's a penalty flag. Matt Krupe came in with the late hit. Now Bill Lynch is not happy at all down on the near sideline.
I think when you get 3 of them, they're probably not going to get picked up. So I think this one's a call that's going to go against the Tigers, and I have to imagine, again, maybe targeting or a shot to the head. Didn't look late. Murphy showed nice scrambling ability here that we haven't seen.
And that's the question. He was trying to slide, and then Krupe came in and hit him, but he was not yet down. So you're right. I think maybe it was not a late hit.
Personal foul with targeting. Defense number 45. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Number 45 has been disqualified from the game.
Well, that is huge for DePauw. It's not Matt Krupe, it is Zach Williams.
Yeah, that's still, I mean, regardless, he's a starter on your defense at this point in the game. That's really, really tough because it's a football play. It's in the course, you know, the natural flow of the play there. And I don't think he expected Murphy to be bent the way that he was. You'll see he's coming in, he tries to stay, and he's...
So the official said 45, but it was really Krupe 34.
It
now,
was.
Krupe stays on the field, and it's Zach Williams that's had to leave.
And that's, I mean, Krupe is the defensive leader for DePauw. That's significant right there. See if the officials go back and look at that at all. Yeah, because that was Krupe 34 that hit him.
Yeah.
No question about it.
But there is Zach Williams, the junior out of Avon, Indiana, who has been disqualified from the game. And he was the guy making the tackle at the feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at him. Let's see. He knows it wasn't his fault. He knows it wasn't him. And I'm sure he equally wouldn't want his teammate to be disqualified either, just mad at the play in general. But wow, the fact that they called the wrong number there, we'll see if that's a factor later on if Krupe makes some plays.
2nd down and 8. Murphy rolls out. His pass is complete. Thomas has the catch, and a Wabash first down inside DePauw territory.
And that's a nice, comfortable play right there. A good throw on target. Thomas, the big target, able to haul it in. That should give Murphy some confidence right there that he needs. First real kind of nice pass play we've seen from either quarterback here in the second half.
4th catch for Ryan Thomas. Again, his first game back after breaking his hand back in the 4th week of the season. Had 10 catches for 108 yards last year in the loss at home to DePauw. Murphy, and overshoots Thomas again.
Oh, we might have a late hit here. Murphy was down on the ground. Flag came in. Nope. It's going to be a hold. Okay. It was down on the ground, and the DePauw player in the backfield, he's still raising his hands, thought that he might have got caught for roughing the passer or a late hit, but it'll be a hold on the Little Giants.
So both these teams.
Holding, offense number 67. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And again, it's a different game. You look at the first 9 games, both Don Morrell and Bill Lynch's team not penalized, but this is a rivalry game, so it gets a little more heated and animated down on the field.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. You see the big penalties, right? You see the personal fouls, the 15-yarders, some of the the pass interference. It's a physical, it's an emotional game, and both these teams now some big penalties the last couple of plays.
Don Morrell was with Jeremiah Johnson before the second half. He felt the team that scored first in the second half had the advantage. Wabash trying to do that right now. Murphy scrambles out of the pocket. He'll go down. A loss back into Wabash territory.
That one's dangerous right there. Murphy running back in towards the pressure too. Probably should have tried to throw that one away. Not able to do it. Tries to make something of it, and nothing but black shirts there.
And that's Krupe. He's like a cat with 9 lives.
I guess he is. He's already made some big plays too, and you really have to feel for Zach Williams too. Disqualified from the game. It's the rule, obviously, in college football. But not only was the call questionable in his mind, but he wasn't even the right guy. So you feel for Williams down there, who will be cheering his teammate Krupe on the rest of the game.
Avan is the running back. He gets the handoff from Murphy, and he has nowhere to go. Dives to the midfield stripe and comes up short at the Wabash 49, where it's 3rd and long for the Little Giants.
That's a great play by Avant, though, showing the athleticism here. I mean, this could have easily been a 5-6 yard loss. And then look at that juke right there, nice play, and able to dive forward for a couple of yards, and that could have easily set them back and made this like a 3rd and 28.
Great crowd today here at Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle. The 124th meeting between Wabash and DePauw. And you're watching on Fox Sports Indiana. We're tied at 14. 3rd down and 20. Murphy throws to the near sideline, batted away, and that's Krupe who knocked it away. Intended for Rashawn Jones. 4th down, and Wabash forced a punt.
Oh yeah, flag on the DePauw sideline, way downfield by the 25-yard line after the play. It's a celebration or men coming over the sidelines. It's a dangerous pass play there from Wabash into a lot of traffic. That ball knocked up in the air, could have easily been intercepted.
Again, Grant Henderson, our referee.
Unless there was a receiver and a defensive back down there really jawing, getting after it late in the play.
After the play, personal foul, number 64, offense, 15-yard penalty, and the down will be 4th down.
Jake Slager, left tackle, sophomore for the Little Giants, called.
Oh yeah, just a little too much too late. That was a design screen. Didn't work out the way the Little Giants wanted. So that's why you have the offensive lineman down the field there, just a little bit too. And that's what we talked about, kind of heated. You're getting into the spirit of the rivalry and just a poor decision there.
Marr on to punt. Line drive punt that Hunt fields at the 25. And good pursuit by the Wabash defense. And DePauw will have the football for the 3rd time here in the second half. We're tied at 14.
The Wabash doing a nice job of containing Andy Hunt. He's had several returnable punts with some low line drive kicks, and the punting team, the punting unit for Wabash, doing a really nice job getting down the field to contain the playmaker for DePauw. So let's see what Lasky comes out here with. If he can get, maybe we'll see some kind of easy pass just to get him back in the flow of the passing game. He has not been on target and had much through the air here so far in the second half.
Kickoff temperature was 38 degrees. As Lasky, quarterback keeper, and he fights his way out to the 35-yard line. Let's head to the sidelines. Here's JJ.
There is no bigger cheerleader right now on this DePauw sidelines than Zach Williams. He's fired up. He's trying to pump up his team. He's obviously disappointed about what happened, but the first person he went to hug after that defensive stop, Matt Krupe. Nothing was really said. He just said, let's get the job done.
And if you think about Williams and Krupe, when they were in high school, they played against each other. Krupe at Westfield, Williams at Avon in the same conference, and we've talked about that. I mean, on both sides, both Wabash and DePauw, these guys played high school football against each other. Some still do. Some are now teammates.
Yeah, and the good news for Williams too, he's only a junior, so he'll have one more shot at this to come back. You know, after getting kicked out there and the refs called the wrong number. We talked about those stories that go on forever. I have a feeling those guys will remember this one for a long time. They'll probably be laughing about it 10, 15 years down the road. But right now, the focus for Williams just on supporting his teammate and getting a win.
3rd and short, 3rd and 1 for DePauw. Lasky, and will not make it. It was Bishop Rhodes blitzing from his outside linebacker position.
A little extracurricular there between Hunt and the defensive back for Wabash, Brian Parks. But Hunt was kind of running like he had the ball too, so I think no harm, no foul on that one. But how about the blitz on the outside there? The pressure from Bishop Rhodes. He's so quick. He leads his team in sacks. Coming off the edge there, he really is a guy that can get after the quarterback. He got a great jump on that snap.
And then you saw Rhodes and Hunt slap hands together. It is a rivalry, but great respect between these two teams and these two institutions. And that was, Parks was saying, Andy Hunt, if you're going to run, I'm going to tackle you.
Absolutely. I don't blame him at all. Again, no harm, no foul on that one. Good job by the official to let that play out.
Seago back in punt formation and fielded by Tyler Downing. And Downing, after a 3-yard gain, gives Wabash possession of the football with 3:42 to play in the 3rd quarter.
I can't figure out Downing as a return man. Every time I think he's going to call a fair catch, he runs up, catches the ball, and gets hit. And every time I think that he's going to run with the football, he calls a fair catch, but he's held on to the ball every time, doing a nice job. And I mean, for Wabash, that was a quick 3 and out by that defense. Well done, because you need to give your offense at least one more opportunity here with the wind at their back and 3:42 to go in the quarter.
Brad, and where these teams are, especially last week, both teams are experienced in playing from behind and coming back. They both had to do it last week. DePauw winning at Kenyon, Wabash winning at Allegheny. James on first down, out to the 35-yard line, and the DePauw defense has done a great job containing both Avant and James.
Yeah, they really have done a nice job. You kind of have that sense of it's only a matter of time, maybe before James breaks one through. But this DePauw defense, again, top 10 nationally against the run. They're doing a nice job of containing the big play. They've only allowed one run over 40 yards on the season. That's what Don Morell told me this week, too. He said, you know, we'll just try to keep grinding, but we don't expect to get very many big runs against this team.
James on second down to the 39-yard line. That's a gain of about 4, sets up third and short for the Little Giants.
Yeah, that's a nice run by James. And, you know, 2 in a row in a sense that you give your offense an opportunity to really open the playbook here, third and short. We haven't seen much of that. You know, you can maybe get your quarterback rolling out. They've done that a couple of times successfully so far in the second half to hit something in the flat. Or again, you just give it to one of the running backs and say, hey, go pick up 3.
3 wide receivers for Wabash on third and short. Avant is the running back. Direct snap to Avant. Avant has the first down. Out to the 45-yard line.
And that's twice they've run that play, the direct snap, kind of on a sweep to Avant. They've run it successfully each time for about 7-8 yards. Earlier on, it was down inside the 10-yard line here. Yeah, very nicely done. You get the quarterback out there blocking, and that's not a small quarterback either. Weston Murphy, 6'2", over 200 pounds, does a nice job on that play of blocking.
When I talked to Don Morell earlier in the week, and we talked about the different offenses, more of the spread for DePauw, he said, hey, we're a lot like Wisconsin. We'd like to line up with 2 tight ends, sometimes with 2 running backs, as they show here with Panola, the fullback, in front of Avant, and Avant just powers it to the 47-yard line.
Yeah, you get the sense this might just be the ground and pound drive for Wabash, of course, unless they need to kick a field goal, and then all bets are off. But, you know, showing their 4 straight runs, you know, the first down and then a nice couple of yards here on this first down. So Avant, James really starting to get it going here in this drive.
Wabash tied it on a 17-play, 72-yard drive that ate up 7 minutes and 12 seconds at the end of the first half. Ike James with his second touchdown, and that's why we're at 14-14 on second down. Murphy looks, it's picked off, it's intercepted. Running the other way is Chandler Nicholson. Nicholson will take it all the way for a touchdown.
And Don Morell said it, unfortunately, it was not his Little Giants. A turnover would be the game changer in the second half. So would the first team to score. It happens to be DePauw. And what a play by Nicholson. Reading that all the way out in the flat, jumps in front of the ball, returns it for 6. A nice move there at the end, and a huge play from that DePauw defense, just when it looked like Wabash was really starting to have their way on the ground on offense.
Nicholson had a fourth-quarter interception last week at Canyon. That's his 4th of the year, and he returns it, a pick 6 for DePauw.
And I'm just not sure if Murphy didn't see Nicholson. He read the play beautifully out in the flat, just jumped right in front of it. One man down here to beat, and that is a huge play for the DePauw defense, especially with the offense struggling to start the third quarter, and they have a chance to go up now 7 here late in the third.
First turnover of the game. We also had penalty flags on the field.
I think it was celebration because it was after Nicholson crossed the goal line. There was a lot of black jerseys out there on the field.
Number 33, excessive celebration. The result of the play is a touchdown. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
So the penalty is against DePauw. I think he pointed the wrong way. And so excessive celebration against the Tigers. They'll kick the extra point, and then the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. So DePauw takes the lead for a third time. They've led 7-0, 14-7, and now 20-14.
Sideline warning on Wabash. I love that penalty on number 33. I think they just had to pick a number out of a hat for because I think 33 is Brandon Gerke, reserve defensive players down there in the middle of the sideline somewhere. But who me? What did I do? Just out here celebrating a touchdown for my team.
So the first turnover today, and DePauw returns it for a touchdown as Jake Tanner is on for his 3rd extra point.
It's like the hockey, too many men on the ice, and some guys get off the bench and go into the penalty box when you get the excessive celebration, too many men on the field.
Will Harris, the holder. Matt Krupe is the long snapper. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. So just like that, Chandler Nicholson changes the story of this game. The 5'11 junior from Bedford, Indiana, has his 4th interception of the year. This for a touchdown. And DePauw leads Wabash 21-14. So many great games, so many great stories. Wabash and DePauw meeting for the 124th time today, 107th straight year, and DePauw on a 52-yard interception return by linebacker Chandler Nicholson. And the Tigers have taken the lead 21-14 with Brad Wochomurka. And on the sideline, Jeremiah Johnson, our outstanding crew. We bring you the Monon Bell rivalry on Fox Sports Indiana for the first time.
Yeah, and I think if you're Wabash, obviously a big setback there, but go back to what you were doing. You're running the ball well. They had 5 straight run plays before that pass. They picked up a first down. You got, what, minute 19 here with the wind at your back before you switch the field. We haven't seen those 2 running backs really get unleashed. I think you come out, you try to do the same thing, establish the run, get that tempo going with James, with Avant, and see if you can't get DePauw backed up a little bit on their heels defensively.
And they have to kick the ball from the 20 against the wind. So with 1:19 to play, an advantage here for Wabash, and they'll try to take advantage with the win here in the final 79 seconds.
Yeah, that could be a significant penalty against DePauw.
But a good kick by Jeremy Nutter. It drives Downing back. Downing gets all the way to the 40-yard line, out to the 43, and that's where Wabash will have it 1st and 10.
Yeah, it was a good kick distance-wise, but it didn't leave a whole lot of time for the DePauw return team to get down there and make a play, and Downing had about 15 yards to run before he even saw a black shirt. So good field position for Wabash again. Right back about where they were before the interception. I think you just keep going on the ground, especially after that interception from Murphy. You got James in there, and let's see if that offense can really crank things up here in the final minute of the 3rd.
That is the first interception run for a score for DePauw since 2008. Murphy on 1st down, chased out of the pocket. And he throws on the run. It's incomplete.
Another dangerous throw there with some black shirts back behind the receiver, a little bit behind the Wabash receiver Cox on that one. And again, we'll see if Murphy continues to go to the air, if they look for James. That's a pretty amazing stat. Since 2008, DePauw has not had a pick 6.
264 yards per game on the ground, just 93 today for Avant and Ike James.
We knew something would give when a great rush offense goes against a great rush defense right now in favor of the Tigers, but still a lot of time left in this, and with those 2 weapons, you can't count either one out right now.
James in the backfield takes the handoff from Murphy, but nowhere to go. Anthony Sansone, 6-foot sophomore out of St. Louis, Missouri, makes the tackle for DePauw.
Yeah, starting to call some different names, too. A lot of guys rotating in and getting action for DePauw on defense, and that's what Bill Lynch said he liked to do with this 3-4 scheme, especially at the linebacker position. A lot of bodies, a lot of depth to be able to roll guys in and out and stay fresh, and we're seeing that now for the DePauw defense. And again, another 3rd and long now here for Wabash.
Again, DePauw has not won back-to-back Bell games since 2007 and 2008. Trying to make it 2 straight and retain the Monon Bell on 3rd down. Late 3rd quarter, Murphy. And a 1st down for Wabash. He finds his tight end, Dylan Baresh.
That's a great catch by Baresh in traffic, and a really nice throw by Murphy under pressure. Hasn't completed his last couple of passes, and look at Baresh right in the middle here, comes open, great catch over the middle, hangs on to the ball after the big hit too. Nice one by Nicholson, but a big 1st down for Wabash now into Tiger territory.
And they will let the clock run out. They're not concerned, I think, right now with the wind. They just want to make sure they get the play right. They'll be going against the wind in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, absolutely, and they get it right there with a big 1st down, moving the ball into Tiger territory now. So going to be an exciting 4th quarter coming up.
DePauw has the lead. The 52-yard return of an interception for a touchdown. The Tigers lead the Little Giants 21-14. 14-14 was the halftime score. DePauw has added a touchdown in the third quarter on that 52-yard interception returned by Chandler Nicholson. Our quarterback comparison today, Weston Murphy, the Little Giant QB, 12 of 25 for 120 yards, and that interception. Jake Lasky, 8 of 19 for 86 yards, as this has been a defensive battle today here in Greencastle. First down and 10. Murphy, pass time, forced the pass. It is incomplete. And it was intended for Kirby Cox, and it looked like he was wide open.
And Nicholson almost had another interception here. Let's see how close he was. Cox was open. Oh, both guys had a shot.
Just got tipped by Nicholson.
What another good play by Nicholson. And there you go, first play of the fourth quarter with that wind in the face now of Wabash. I think they're going the other way. That ball is probably complete. The wind knocking it down a little bit.
Thomas, the wide receiver here on the near side. On second down, James is the running back. James fights his way inside the 40 to the 37-yard line, a gain of 5.
That's a nice way to come back, running behind that big right side of the offensive line, coming back there on second down to make third manageable here and really give Wabash options. Nice run by James, nice blocking up front by the Wabash line.
Ike James started the day as number 5 on the Wabash single-season rushing list, coming in with 1,232 yards. 2 touchdowns today, number 18 and 19 on the year. James keeps it and will be denied the 35-yard line. Stopped at the 36 for a gain of about 1.
Yeah, just no momentum running forward that time. The DePauw defensive line kind of blowing that play up from the get-go. And James really would have had to just do everything on his own to pick up that first down. So here we go, 4th and 4. We'll see what Don Morrell decides to do, and it looks like the punting unit.
So it was a decision time, but Alex Marr will come on.
We think they're going to kick. I guess we should put that qualifier out there after the 2 fake field goals in the first half.
And that led to the scoring drive and the touchdown by James that tied it at 14. Marr will punt it to the corner. And that ball will be down at the 1-yard line.
Wow, what a punt, what a play. Andy Hunt tried to go over and see if he could knock the Wabash player out, maybe have him knock the ball out of the end zone, but that's a phenomenal punt and a great job down there by Wabash to pin DePauw deep. You see the kick here, perfectly angled.
Ahmad Hill makes the play, a 5'3", 137-pound defensive back and a freshman out of Fort Wayne with a huge play on this Monon Bell Saturday. 21-14, DePauw has the lead. Let's hit the sideline with Jeremiah Johnson.
The Monon Bell trophy is on the DePauw sideline, but Wabash has a trophy of their own. Take a look at this helmet. Offensive line coach Ole Olmstead started a tradition last year with having every offensive lineman, whether they play or not, write on a piece of tape their message of what they're going to do in the Monon Bell game. Some, it says, help keep the sideline up. Some, of course, making some great blocks. This is on the sideline. 2nd year in a row they've done it. Fires everybody up. Another little story in this Monon Bell rivalry.
James Deaton trying to push the pile, but gets nowhere. The ball will stay at the 1-yard line. 2nd down and 10 as Wabash has DePauw pinned down deep in their own territory.
Yeah, this is a huge series right here in this ball game. Now they're into the 4th quarter, DePauw up 7. Wabash has a chance to really keep them deep right here and get excellent field position, or possibly even grab 2 points for the safety. Not a whole lot of options offensively for DePauw here, and especially after getting nothing on first down, just trying to get some net positive yards the next 2 plays.
Play clock winding down inside 10 seconds now. Deaton is the running back. Lasky's going to throw on 2nd down. Lasky escapes and tripped up at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, that's where being decisive is a key element for any quarterback, because Lasky immediately felt the pressure, saw it, and knew he had to get out of there. No play to throw the ball. Can't throw it away in the end zone either. You'll take a safety. So look, immediately dive, just get to the green at that point, Jake says. He does, and picks up a couple of yards.
And that was Evan Hansen making the stop. And now 3rd down.
Hansen's really starting to make his name felt. in this ball game. A sack earlier, a couple of nice plays, some good pressure there, and we'll see what DePauw tries to do, if they maybe just have Lasky take it out again, or if they will put the ball in the air.
Play coming in from the sideline for Lasky, the senior quarterback out of Harrison High School in West Lafayette. He'll simply run the football, and Lasky has the first down.
What a play. That is a huge, huge play for the Tigers, and a backbreaker for Wabash right there. You have the Tigers backed up. Lasky's keeping it. He's just got to get him down. DePauw's going to punt no matter fourth and how short it is, and there Lasky able to use his legs, pick up the first down. A huge play by the DePauw quarterback, his best play, biggest play of the second half.
A 13-yard run for the senior gives DePauw some breathing room now.
And now you get the sense the Tigers can really operate their offense for the first time in the second half. Wind at their back. They're out from, the shadow of their own goalpost. So an opportunity here to open the playbook, throw the ball, run it, use Lasky's legs. A big series here coming up for Wabash to try to get the football back.
And DePauw has gone to the two tight end formation on first down. Lasky keeps it, and Lasky wrapped up at about the 24-yard line. Gain of 3. And DePauw now taking all type of time off that play clock.
Yeah, you wonder, there's still double digits left. You're only up by a touchdown, so I don't think you're totally chewing the clock yet at this point. Probably need some more points to get there. But if they can get 3 or 4 yards of pod, gladly Bill Lynch will take that and continue to do so.
Again, Jake Lasky set a DePauw career record with 500 total yards earlier this season, taking over the quarterback duties after starter Matt Labus was lost for the year with a knee injury. Pass complete. That's Jake Hagan.
So it's interesting, in those 500 total yards, the record he broke was Jason Lee's, set 17 years ago against Hope College in 2000. I talked to Jason this week. I knew him. I played with him. I just wanted to get his sense of what it meant to have that record broken, what he felt. And he said the first thing I thought was, well, it's crap they gave him credit for the running, because I couldn't run a yard to save my life. In fact, Jason actually threw for more yards, and he finally finished with that game because he ran for negative to add to his net total, or take away from it, I should say. But he said he was happy for Lasky, because Lasky did it in a win, which Jason did not, and it was good to see that record finally fall.
We apologize if you're experiencing technical difficulties on third down and short, and nowhere to go for DePauw. A new running back in, that's DeMarco Henry, who scored 3 touchdowns on the ground last week against Kenyon.
Oh, this could be a game changer here for Wabash. What a play on third and short to be able to get DePauw off the field. A great tackle in the backfield that time for Wabash by Cordell Prescott.
So a big third down run by Lasky gave him some breathing room at the 21. Now forced to punt with Hunter Seago, and a 21-14 DePauw lead.
Oh, you're on the kicker.
Flag, looks like the kicker was hit.
Bishop Rhodes trying to block the punt. Hunter Seago, and a penalty flag, and that should give the football right back to DePauw.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to call the personal foul, but regardless, it's only 4th and 4, so it's going to be a first down either way, and that is a killer for Wabash after a great stand there. Would have had good field position.
During the kick, personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 10 of the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, and an automatic first down.
So again, Chris, the big mistakes, big penalties. They're not the 5-yard, they're all the 15-yard variety, it seems like, this afternoon.
And Bishop Rhodes knew he had done it. Hunter Seago applauds.
And Rhodes has had such a tremendous game here this afternoon, too. Hate to see that penalty, but look, you're Wabash, you come right back out. You still have a great opportunity here. Get DePauw off the field, 3 and out, and turn it back over to your offense. So penalty hurts now, but still a good opportunity for Wabash to come up defensively with a big play here.
Little Giants lost last year in Crawfordsville, 37-34. Trying to take back the bell. DePauw trying to hold on to the Monon bell. And Jake Lasky is the senior quarterback of the Tigers on first down. He looks deep, intended for Hunt. He overthrows him, and a penalty flag.
That's a good call. I don't know what the defensive back is doing right there at the last minute, almost with a hip, reached out and just bumped Hunt on the play. And it's probably a ball that he's not going to catch that ball either, and maybe the officials will look to discuss that, but definitely a bump as the ball was getting there. Just not a heads-up play. That's 2 in a row now for Wabash.
Pass interference, defense number 26, 15-yard penalty, and an automatic first down.
Artie Akiwa is the guilty party.
And watch, you'll see here, Akiwa, kind of at the last minute, just comes over and reaches out and is more with his hip, just bumps Hunt. And that's really, really tough because that's a ball that's probably not going to get caught, though. So that's a difficult penalty right there for Wabash. Not a smart play by Aquila to make that contact late, but I doubt Hunt's going to come up with that football. And that's after Aquila made a great tackle earlier on third down.
Wabash's 8th penalty for 94 yards this afternoon. And the Little Giants came in averaging just under 5 for 43 yards.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. Both these teams so disciplined and have racked up a few more penalty yards than either coach, would have liked to see. The punt, definitely, a personal foul that we just saw a few moments ago. That one, I think, was a foul, but was that ball catchable? Probably not. So a very tough one for Wabash to swallow there, but that's all right. A good play there on first down, and now let's see if the Wabash defense can get after the Tigers here on second down.
Inside 9 minutes in the fourth quarter. DePauw by a 21-14 count. Hunt the catch. Ball spotted at the 38. That's very close, and it is a DePauw first down.
Yeah, just a nice quick play out there in the flat. Easy throw and catch to Hunt. That's something hopefully get Lasky on track a little bit throwing the football. He has struggled with all afternoon, especially here in the second half.
Wabash and DePauw. Wittenberg will win the North Coast Athletic Conference, but the Monon Bell is on the line today. Lasky, the keeper. He's inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, now, Chris, you expand the field a little bit with the wind behind the backs of the DePauw Tigers. So, a field goal, getting close to field goal range. Bill Lynch has kind of said about the 25-yard line and in is when they'll think about it. So they're approaching that territory. But DePauw obviously thinking 7 here and not 3. The time's starting to be a factor if you're the Little Giants approaching 8 minutes to play.
James Deaton is the running back with Lasky in the backfield. On second and short, that pass is wide and incomplete.
And he was wide open, too, the wide receiver. That's unfortunate that they couldn't make that connection. Just a quick little hitch route right there, and Lasky throwing it behind his intended target, Nolan Ayers.
Third down at the Wabash 29. The one thing that incomplete pass did is it stopped the clock, and that's good for Wabash.
Yeah, that could be that one could really come back to haunt DePauw. That was an easy pitch and catch. Clock still going. Would have been a first down, and now if you don't pick up a first down here, the clock stopped. More time back for Wabash. So big play here will potentially erase that last one, but that one could be a significant one when we see what happens after this play.
Wilson, Hunt, and Hagan at the top of the screen, the receivers, but they're looking for Nolan Ayers, and it's incomplete.
A lot of contact there. They tried that back shoulder throw again, but great job by the defensive back to break that play up. That's Brian Parks. They've picked on a little bit today, and Parks almost had a huge interception, and now we'll see what happens on 4th and 1 if the Tigers decide to go for it. Now, there's Parks, who probably it would have been hard to hang on to that ball inbounds, but a good play.
4th down and 1. DePauw keeps its offense on the field. Wabash converted a couple of 4th downs with fake field goals back in the first half.
A lot of pressure along the line. I don't know, it feels like a Lasky run.
Lasky, he'll be stopped. Wabash's defense holds. Little Giants have the football.
That's a huge play by Wabash. They moved the defensive line around a little bit. The last minute collapsed back in on the hole where Lasky was looking to go. A great job, a huge play by the Wabash defense after a couple of penalties to get DePauw off the field and get the football back.
Little Giants needed the D to rise. They did. They'll have the football when we return. You know, Brad, days off are overrated. Jeremiah Johnson and I, of course, you see us about 3 or 4 times a week covering the Pacers here on Fox Sports Indiana. Day off, game tomorrow. The Houston Rockets and the Indiana Pacers, and we're glad to be joining you and the entire crew for this 124th Monon Bell.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys didn't bring the snow from Chicago down with you to Greencastle. It's cold enough, but at least it's dry down here.
Pacers had a big win last night.
JJ and I will be part of the telecast tomorrow at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis. Wabash has the football. First down and 10. Trying to get some momentum. Murphy looks to the sideline. Murphy has a receiver, and Rashawn Jones cannot catch up to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still just surprised to see how often Wabash is going to the air and unsuccessfully when you've got these big running backs. But I guess it speaks to the DePauw defense. They've just been able to shut everything down that Wabash is doing. And he had a man there. That play had potential down the field, just overthrown by a half step.
Crowd of almost 8,000 today here at Blackstock Stadium as Wabash and DePauw play. Wabash had won 7 straight before DePauw won last year in Crawfordsville, 37-34. It's the final Saturday of the Division III regular season each November as Wabash and DePauw play in this great rivalry.
And you mentioned earlier, DePauw still a shot to make the Division III playoffs as an at-large. Wittenberg has already won the NCAC automatic bid, so the Tigers a lot on the line here potentially if they can hold on.
James, the carry. James, the 40, the 45, and tripped up at the 50. David Corey made the touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah, and there's what we've been waiting to see from Ike James, just kind of emerging from a hole and boom, all the way down the field. And what a tackle by David Corey just to trip him up after what looked like might be a touchdown run. Corey coming over. Yeah, nice play there, but a big chunk play by James gets Wabash moving.
They have it at their own 49-yard line. James dives to the 50. No gain for James. Second down and 10, Wabash.
Anthony Sansone diving in, making a nice play to undercut James. Got him around the legs, right around the line of scrimmage. So great recovery by the DePauw defense after the long run by James. Nice play by Sansone.
Rahimi, Miller, and Orison up front. We've also seen Sansone. Linebackers Harry Bell, Matt Krupe, Chandler Nicholson. Zach Williams was ejected earlier for targeting. Secondary of Price, Seago, Pep, and Corey for the Tigers. Avant gets the call. A gain of about 1, and now third down and 9 for Wabash. The ball at the 50.
And what a second half for 47, Chandler Nicholson. Had the interception returned for a touchdown, nearly had another, and they were able to wrap up Avant for nearly no gain after another direct snap play, which was given to DePauw some fits so far in this ball game. And here we go, another big third and long right at midfield for Wabash.
Crowd on its feet. Third down and long. Running room. And the pass is incomplete. It bounced, intended for Kirby Cox. And fourth down, Wabash will look to punt the football with 6:06 to play.
That's a tough throw from Weston Murphy, but that was a good play. It looked for a minute like he would try to tuck and run. I doubt he would have made the first down. A lot of black shirts there, and he had a man, but that's a tough throw while you're running, and a good effort by Kirby Cox. Just couldn't come up with it. Throw was a little bit low, but a good decision there by Murphy to try to throw it downfield for the big play. An even better stand for the Tiger defense.
Alex Marr is on. Does Don Morrell have another trick play up his sleeve? Not this time. Andy Hunt will field and run. Hunt changes direction.
Oh, wow.
The football. Wabash has it.
And that's the killer that Wabash has been looking for. A huge turnover. Andy Hunt probably just trying to do too much right there, running backwards left and right, and stripped of the football, and Wabash in prime position to tie this one up. Don Morrell said it would be a turnover that changed it. Well, maybe it'll be 2 that factor big into the second half.
Jaleel Granberry, wearing number 42, a junior out of Chicago, Illinois, comes up with the loose ball, and Wabash has the ball deep in DePauw territory.
Wow, just a great team effort by the punt coverage team for Wabash. Leon Ivey there to poke the ball out when Hunt tried to change direction one more time. You see the despair on Andy Hunt's face sitting down on the bench, and now it's up to the Tiger defense to try to make a huge stand here inside their own 5.
James, the running back, behind sophomore quarterback Weston Murphy. James into the end zone for a third time.
And that's how a good player takes advantage of a turnover right away. Ike James waltzing into the end zone. A huge turn of events here, and Wabash is about to tie this thing up. Wow, what a sequence of events, Chris, to see that happen.
Wabash's turnover leads to an interception return for a touchdown. DePauw's fumbled punt leads to a third touchdown for Ike James.
Yeah, and we're looking at being all square again with under 6 minutes to go. Great blocking up front. Again, that big right side of the offensive line. James able to easily take it in.
James now has 20 touchdowns, and the Little Giants will go for 2.
Wow. Well, why not when you got Ike James the way he's powered in? We'll see if they hand him the football. But how about Don Morrell? 2 fakes and now going for 2.
21-20. Murphy rolls out. Pass is complete. It's good for the 2-point conversion.
Wow.
It's Kirby Cox with the catch. And the Little Giants lead 22-21.
Wow, Kirby Cox, a minute after he couldn't come up with the other play, makes a huge catch, sliding to the ground. Chris, Don Morrell, this is amazing. You got to love his confidence in the second half.
Kirby Cox, the senior out of Indianapolis and Cecina High School, catches the 2-point conversion from sophomore quarterback Weston Murphy. For the third time, Don Morrell surprises the fans at Blackstock Stadium. And now in the fourth quarter, Wabash leads DePauw 22-21. Turnovers have led to the last 2 touchdowns, one for DePauw and one for Wabash. And just when you thought Wabash would kick the extra point to tie the game, they go for the lead in the 2-point conversion.
Unbelievable, and they get it, and that is so close too. In college, you're down, and the knees down, no contact needed, and Cox just able to corral that pass right at the goal line. But how about Don Morrell? DePauw, they have a shot to possibly go to the playoffs we were just talking about. Wabash, it's the Monon Bell or bust at this point, so why not go for it? A great call by Don Morrell there. Now you've put all the pressure back on the DePauw offense and Jake Lasky with 5:49 to go and trailing by a point.
Last year was an instant classic in Crawfordsville. 37-34, the comeback by DePauw. Are we seeing another classic here in Greencastle? That's Ike James. 3 touchdowns today. And the Skylar Nayry kick taken by Logan Green. And a good return by Green out across the 30 to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, he got hit hard at the end of that, but a nice return.
Ike James out of Lowell, Indiana, started his college career at St. Joseph. The school closed. He was recruited by Wabash, and he said, I probably should have gone to Wabash the first time. The Little Giants are happy to have him.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. I mean, it's not just the football program shut down. The school, that school does not exist anymore. The school closes, and he comes back and is recruited hard by Wabash. A no-brainer there to go back to the team that originally recruited him. So what a story for Ike James. Hasn't had the most success on the ground today, but 3 touchdowns, that's all that matters. Get the points up on the scoreboard, and he has done that and given the Little Giants a lead.
His dad, a longtime educator, the assistant principal at Merrillville High School up in northern Indiana. And now DePauw has it with 5:35 to play, facing their first deficit of the afternoon, 22-21. And is that Lasky?
It is. That's not good. Jake Lasky, the quarterback, as you see, they're really hobbling. He's having a hard, he can't even stand up. Oh, this would be a shame for the Tigers here at the end of the fourth quarter. They've already lost 2 quarterbacks for the year with injuries, both ACLs. Matt Labus putting up really incredible numbers to start the season.
And Chase Andrews, a freshman quarterback out of Pittsboro, Indiana. Their 4th quarterback would be Cam Haynes, who started earlier in the year, a 6'5 freshman out of Cincinnati, has great size. But again, Labus is a running quarterback, got off to a great start, and Bill Lynch said, look, we really don't, midway through the season, want to have to change our offense. It made sense to bring Lasky back as the quarterback.
Yeah, they gave Cam Haynes an opportunity as we take a look here to see what happened with Lasky. If he gets rolled up on right there on the leg, and that's hard to watch. And Jake Lasky still down in a lot of pain. And so they gave Haynes an opportunity to start the first game after Labus was hurt. And to your point, Chris, they realized, hey, our offense is designed around a running quarterback. Let's not change too much. I mean, Lasky at that point had been moved kind of to to a wide receiver position. Haynes, a guy they thought very highly of coming into the season, can definitely throw the ball, big quarterback, so he's going to get an opportunity here, it looks like, as Jake Lasky limps off the field. Just so unfortunate to see that in the Monon Bell game. A senior that's waited his turn, it's like we said, moved to a different position and everything, and he is clearly in a lot of pain and upset on the DePauw sideline.
Lasky, well, let's see. It's a different number. It is Nolan Ayers. Nolan Ayers, the senior out of Indianapolis, a former quarterback, will be the quarterback here, and he slings it looking for Andy Hunt. It's incomplete.
Kidding me, would that have been a play? And that was a well-thrown ball by Haynes. Very nice there, and Hunt the speed, but great coverage down there on the sideline by Wabash. But if that play would have been connected, we've seen a lot in this game, but that would have been unreal.
Nolan Ayers has a connection to Bill Lynch. Bill Lynch played with Nolan Ayers' grandfather at Butler. Nolan Ayers was recruited as a quarterback from Cecina High School, has also played defensive back. He's in the critical fourth quarter in the Monon Bell game. It's third down and long now for DePauw. With 5:25, still a lot of time to play.
But there's no chance to really warm up for Ayers. Comes in second and long. I mean, here you go. Got to get right into this.
Left-hander rolls out of the pocket. Has running room if he wants it. It's complete over the middle. Jake Hagan makes the catch.
That's not a quarterback. It's a wide receiver out there running to throw the ball. And to show that patience, to not tuck and run it, and to find the open man Hagan at midfield. And a great catch by Jake Hagan, too. What a fantastic play all around.
Great shot by our crew here to see Ayers complete the pass to Hagan.
Nice catch by Hagan. Good patience by Ayers.
In Wabash territory on 1st and 10, and a penalty flag, a procedure call against the Tigers.
I think that's on the outside here.
Prior to the snap,
Chase Sadler.
false start, number 23 of the offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, that's really tough too. Wide receivers committing those kind of penalties. Just look at the ball, and when the ball moves, then you go. That's a hard one, especially again with a non-quarterback playing quarterback right now for DePauw. Every yard counts.
Well, for the first ever Monon Bell telecast here on Fox Sports Indiana, Brad, you cannot ask for a better afternoon.
This is fantastic.
Ayers under pressure. He's on the run. Across the 45, he gets out of bounds. Shy of a first down. It'll be third down now for DePauw.
Yeah, but Chris, I mean, what we were talking about earlier, you look at the fact that this offense is built around a running quarterback. Makes sense that Ayers is a guy that maybe you throw in here in this situation, because he certainly is an athlete, can do that. And you see him getting very close to the marker there. So after the penalty, second and short now.
With Jeremiah Johnson and Brad Wochomurka, I'm Chris Denari, our entire Fox Sports Indiana crew. The 124th Monon Bell game, and it's incomplete, intended for Chase Sadler.
Yeah, that ball didn't miss by much. Nice effort by Sadler, but a huge third down coming up here as you see Ayers, the lefty. That's one thing that Ayers does have over Lasky is a lot of size, so maybe some of those routes kind of middle of the field, being able to run some of those now come back into play for DePauw with a much bigger quarterback under center.
Nolan Ayers coming into this game had attempted one pass this year. Forced into duty with the injury to Jake Lasky. 4 wide receivers on third and short. Ayers has time. Wafts it over the middle. Hunt has the catch.
Wow, wide open Andy Hunt and Nolan Ayers. It's amazing back there, just dancing around like a seasoned veteran quarterback, standing tall in the pocket and able to fire downfield and find Hunt for the big game.
No one felt worse than Andy Hunt fumbling the punt that allowed Wabash to score and take the lead. A huge pass and catch, Ayers and Hunt.
That's just a great job of concentration by Hunt. That ball hung up there for a while. Knew he was going to take a hit. Catches it, hangs on. Big play for the Tigers. And how about Nolan Ayers showing the composure in the pocket, Chris?
In the red zone, DePauw with 4:10 to play. Down 22-21. Ayers will keep it on his feet. 5, near the end zone.
He fumbled the ball. Into the end zone, was he? I don't think he was down. They're going to call it a fumble. That's a touchback.
And Wabash recovers. The Little Giants have recovered as Ayers fumbles the football. the second time we have seen DePauw fumble the football in the end zone.
Oh, geez, this is going to be really, really close. We'll take a look at the replay. There's a flag down in the field. Ayers is pleading his case. They're going to maybe talk about it. But it looks like we think this ball may have been out, and that's the danger of stretching and trying to extend a play.
That ball was out.
That one's clearly out, yep.
It's recovered by Henry Weber Hunt.
And the ball recovered by Wabash in the end zone. The result of the play is a touchback. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 7 of DePauw, 15-yard penalty added to the enforcement spot, first down.
That's really tough there because, I mean, at least for DePauw, still 4 minutes to go in this. You got Wabash on the 20-yard line. Now they're all the way out approaching midfield, at the 35 following that touchback. But that second replay really showed it. And that was clearly a fumble. You know, I thought maybe his knee would have been down, but no, this wasn't close. This is definitely out. Yeah, right there. That's a great play to poke that ball out.
Was that Ryan Walters or Leon Ivey that made the stop?
Let's see, 29.
It was Ryan Walters, the senior out of Belding, Michigan. He made the tackle. Weber Hunt made the recovery, and now Wabash has the football. 1st and 10 at its own 35.
That's an amazing play by Walters. I mean, give Harris credit for stepping in as an emergency quarterback, but what a huge play from the Wabash defense.
And now this is what Wabash would like to do, keep it on the ground with James and Avant and try to bleed the clock here in Greencastle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, worst case, you're able to bleed some clock and then you punt it from your own, 40, 35-yard line. That's why that penalty against DePauw was really big following the touchback. So the Wabash is going to take their time here, no question about it, and bleed that play clock down.
Both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining. James has now rushed for 76 yards, 3 touchdowns today. He's averaging just 3 yards per carry. He averages better than 5 on the year.
Paul's going to be ripping and grabbing at that ball every opportunity they have, so able to stack James up there. What you just got to be careful of is you're stacking everyone along the line. There's no one back deep. One hole, one small seam, and James could be gone for a first down or more.
And now a big 3rd down for Wabash at their own 38-yard line.
We'll see what Don Morrell does here. If he decides a first down can go a long way in ending this football game. If not, you imagine Bill Lynch may burn a timeout right after this if they run the ball and can't get a first down to preserve as much clock as he can for the Tigers.
Play clock down to 8. Wabash late out of the huddle. Play clock down to 3, and a timeout taken by Don Morrell and the Wabash College Little Giants.
Yeah, you don't want to rush that play right there in such a key moment of this football game. But again, looks like they're going to line up for the run right there with only one wide receiver split out to the left. We'll see if they come back in a similar formation after the timeout.
Some huge plays in this game this afternoon, none bigger than the 2 fake field goals by Wabash. Bill Lynch's team got the 52-yard pass interception for a touchdown by Chandler Nicholson, and then after the fumbled punt, Wabash scores with Ike James for the 3rd time, and just when you thought they'd tie the game at 21, they go for the 2-point conversion and take the lead.
And then the other way, you think DePauw's going down the field and their quarterback comes out of the game. Here comes a wide receiver in to play quarterback for DePauw, and they start marching down the field, and a huge play by the Wabash defense to not only force the fumble, but to have the ball go into the end zone and recover. That, you mentioned this field turn. The ball will slide around, and a lot of things could have gone either way on that play. And Wabash recovering, getting the penalty. An amazing second half.
Yeah, both teams were clean in the first half. No turnovers. This was DePauw's first. Andy Hunt fumbling the punt return. And then at the goal line, Nolan Ayers has the ball knocked away. Touchback in the end zone. Wabash football. They have it 3rd and 7 at their own 38. Murphy, handoff, James.
Oh, wow. That's a big hit. That's Krupe, Matt Krupe, the linebacker, coming in to make that hit. That looked for a minute like James. He had a lot of speed and had a hole and was going to dart for a first down, but Krupe came in and made what could be a game-saving tackle right there if DePauw can get the ball back and score.
DePauw quickly calls a timeout, so they now have 2 remaining. Wabash with 2 as well.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with this punt, Chris, and where DePauw ends up with field position. But plenty of time for the Tigers. 2:26, 2 timeouts. The win at their back. But again, playing with a converted wide receiver at quarterback. And by converted, I mean converted about 10 minutes ago to playing that position this afternoon. You got to love this, though. And, you know, the Monon Bell, all the stories, all the drama, the great game last year as well, and this one shaping up to be an all-timer. They're already making Monon memories out of several moments in this game, I'm sure.
And probably no surprise, you think of the history of Bill Lynch and Nolan Ayers. Not sure you want to put Cam Haynes, the freshman, in the 4th quarter right into the midst of this Monon Bell classic.
And the guy in Ayers, it's cold, he's warm, he's been on the floor of the game, he can obviously throw the ball, and he can run, which the offense is built around.
Alex Marr, punts it away from Andy Hunt, gets a DePauw bounce, comes back toward the 30-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will take over with 2:17 to play.
Yeah, that's a well-executed punt right there, tough into the wind, but a good punt to kick it away from Hunt.
22-21. Wabash has the lead. Let's head to the sidelines with Jeremiah Johnson.
If you're listening, you do not hear that bell ringing. It was on the DePauw sidelines the entire game. Midway through the 4th quarter, they've moved it. The security folks have moved it under those bleachers in the end zone. Purpose of that? Sometimes in the past, not saying it would happen today, but it's been a little difficult for the team that holds it to give it up to the team that takes it back. So it is in the end zone right now. It could go back to DePauw or perhaps over to Wabash, depending on what happens on this drive.
Thank you, J.J. Brad. A year ago, it was 2:02 to play. Wabash up 34-30 when DePauw scored the winning touchdown. 2:17 to play with Nolan Ayers. Senior quarterback looks for Andy Hunt. That pass is incomplete.
Had a shot, double coverage, and that's not surprising. I think you're going to see that the rest of the way on Hunt with a safety deep as well as the corner. But again, Nolan Ayers showing he can throw the deep ball. He throws the ball pretty nicely, and Andy Hunt had a shot to run under that, but also an equal shot for Wabash to pick that one off.
Artie Akiwa and Brian Parks in the coverage against Andy Hunt. And now 2nd down for DePauw with 2:10 to play.
Yeah, much safer moving that ball to a neutral area. Games past, it used to stay behind the sideline and a mad rush would ensue.
Ayers keeps it on the ground, and he's out near a 1st down. It'll be about 2 yards short out to the 38.
Yeah, good pressure there, and a nice job of Ayers to pick up yardage, and clearly 4-down territory. So now 2 shots here to get 2 yards for DePauw.
Ramon Lopez is in the backfield with Ayers. Ayers forced out of the pocket. Ayers on the move. Ayers' pass is incomplete. It was intended for Jake Hagan. And now 4th down and 2 for DePauw.
A bit of a throwaway. Had some receivers over there, but that's the right decision there. You take a sack, this game might be over right there. So huge play here. Here's the ball game potentially on 4th and 2 for DePauw.
Both teams have 2 timeouts, 1:45 to play, and DePauw will use its 2nd timeout of the half.
And what's interesting here, Chris, is that basically means this is the game now coming back. I mean, Bill Lynch with 2 timeouts, would have had a shot, but now this is going to be it on 4th and 2.
We set the stage for the final 1:45. Wabash leads DePauw 22-21. Nolan Ayers started his DePauw career as a quarterback. He's now a wide receiver, forced to play quarterback. The 5th different quarterback this year for the Tigers. And the Monon Bell has come to this. 4th down and 2. DePauw trails 22-21 with 1:45 to play here in Greencastle. 3 wide receivers here on the near side. Ayers forced out of the pocket. He'll be leveled. Hansen is there as the Little Giants make the play and have probably won the Monon Bell.
That's a design quarterback run all the way, and Wabash sniffed it out. DePauw just couldn't get it blocked. Ayers really had to try to do it on his own and just couldn't. You got to give him credit for coming in a desperate situation and playing quarterback. But what a job by the Wabash defense, sniffing this out. They've been burned on the quarterback run several times throughout the afternoon, and the D steps up and makes a huge play right there and most likely delivers the bell back to Crawfordsville.
And the reason we say that, DePauw has just one timeout left.
Yeah, you see here, I mean, design run pulls it down, but great pressure up the middle, and then just nowhere to go on that left side. Unfortunately for the Tigers, it looks like the Bell in Greencastle era may have come to an end after just 12 months.
And this would be the 5th consecutive Wabash win on the road in the Monon Bell Classic, and Bill Lynch and the Tigers take their final timeout.
Yeah, this Wabash team was motivated from day one to bring that bell back to Crawfordsville. I mean, it sat there for 7 years. Don Morell even told us that you kind of, those last 2-3 years, sort of got complacent a little bit. People just expected to win. Wabash had some tremendous teams during that run, and DePauw finally breaking that streak last year. And we said it ruined Christmas for Don Morell. It ruins every day, and the whole student body is in from day one trying to get that thing back. It looks like it is headed back north up 231 to Crawfordsville.
Brad, Don Morell told me on Monday it's been sort of a nasty type year. They're 7-2 in a surprising way with a lot of close losses, and this has been that sort of game for the Little Giants. They played from behind most of the way, made the most of a couple of turnovers, one that led to a touchdown, one that stopped a touchdown.
Yeah, they really did. Adversity and just going up against it all throughout the season is what Don Morell talked about, and they did. They're down 7-0, tied it, down 14-7, came back to tie it 21-14. Wabash comes back, they go for 2, just no quit in that group, and an amazing opportunity, or amazing job this afternoon to take advantage of this opportunity to win the bell, and it looks like they'll do just that.
He said there's so much pressure on you as the Wabash head coach, not just to have a winning season, but to win the Monon Bell. Don Morell and the Little Giants lost it last year at Little Giant Hollett Stadium in Crawfordsville. They're going to win it today here at Blackstock Stadium.
Yeah, smart play here.
Murphy will take some time off the clock again. DePauw cannot stop the clock.
Unless the clock doesn't start, which, I don't know, it looked like that clock was stopped for a little bit. It's running now.
It's going to be interesting because you would have thought that Wabash could have run the entire clock out, but the play clock's down to 26. They've only got one more play to run, so something crazy still could happen here in Greencastle.
In this game, Chris, never say never. But, you know, Wabash is going to have the opportunity here after running the clock down and really pooch punt and see if they can get DePauw backed up with no timeouts. It's going to take a miracle, but, you know, we've seen some highlights already of great games and finishes throughout the afternoon.
And Murphy will take the delay of game. That will put the clock at 49 1/10 seconds. Wabash takes the timeout. There's no delay of game, so they'll keep the ball at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, you know, potentially here, you know, if you're DePauw, you're only down a point, so it's not necessarily a Hail Mary, score a touchdown scenario depending on how much time is left when they have the ball. A field goal could still be in play, but you have to take some huge chunk yardage plays to get down the field and put yourself in a position to kick that. But still a little bit more and some time going back on the clock to 51 seconds. So a little more drama than we thought we might see when DePauw was stopped on 4th down.
And there is the bell, all lonesome. Sitting behind the stands here at Blackstock Stadium on the campus of DePauw University. Wabash trying to get back the bell. They had won it 7 straight times prior to losing last year 37-34. And they're trying to bring the bell back to Crawfordsville.
Yeah, they're students assembling and trying to get ready to run over and congratulate the team and grab that thing, but we'll see what happens here. If you know, I'd expect maybe they'll try to do the same thing and see if Murphy can run a few seconds off the clock first.
Yep. And Murphy will run and then put a knee down. 47 seconds. Play clock will go to 40, and it'll be about a 2-second difference.
And you know what? I think all you're going to do here, you're going to take that snap and run back and just sit on the ball. So likely not. Yeah, they're not going to try to kick this away.
Members of the Sphinx Club at Wabash College waiting to bring the bell back to Crawfordsville. Wabash is in the huddle. They still have a timeout, and Don Morrell waiting to call that timeout as the play clock ticks down. And he takes the timeout with 3.9 seconds on the scoreboard here at DePauw.
So basically, you need to make sure you kill 4 seconds at 3.9. So let's see if they put, if they put Murphy back in the shotgun, or potentially, Avon's taken several direct snaps. Maybe you put him back there, take a direct snap, a running back that could run around a little bit more. You have some confidence in to just run backwards and kill those 4 seconds. I don't think you do anything crazy here. And obviously, you don't take a knee. You want to make sure you kill the time. Because you've got, otherwise, DePauw somehow is able to stop the clock before 4 seconds. They're clearly within Hail Mary range, so this could be interesting.
Ike James, 3 touchdowns today. 5th all-time on the Wabash single-season rushing list, the sophomore out of Lowell, Indiana. His 3rd touchdown made it a 21-20 lead for DePauw, and then Wabash went for the 2-point conversion. That was the touchdown, the 3rd, that brought Wabash within a point. So here on 4th down, Little Giants, Murphy's gonna roll out. He's gonna throw it in the air. The clock will run out, and the Wabash Little Giants have won the 124th Monon Bell Classic. The Monon Bell is heading 28 miles north to Crawfordsville.
Just a fantastic finish to a fantastic game. This rivalry throughout the years has played out in such dramatic fashion. Another chapter here this afternoon after DePauw snapped a 7-year losing streak in this game last year on a late comeback. How about Wabash bringing the bell back to Crawfordsville with a comeback of their own and some gutty calls from Don Morrell.
With the winning head coach, Don Morrell, here's Jeremiah Johnson.
Don just went to talk with Coach Bill Lynch. An emotional 3.5 hours. I'm spent, and I just held a microphone. How are you feeling?
Feel good. I could play another right now.
I talked to you at halftime about the fake field goals. How about going for 2 when you're down 1 in the 4th quarter?
Well, I think you come to the Bell game to win it, not to get a tie. We had not played well on offense. That was going to be our best opportunity to win the game, and we did it. Hey, and kudos to the kid. Anybody can call the fake stuff. They executed 2 fakes. They executed the 2-point play, and then they didn't quit. The game looked like it was over, and Wabash always fights.
Coach Lynch told me this week that so many times in this game, it's whoever wins the turnover battle. Halftime, neither team had committed a turnover. You're +1 in the second half, and you win the game.
We did, and again, our defense shut them out in the second half. Now, it got a little crazy down there at the 1-yard line, but that's the Bell game.
Final thought, you had 7 straight wins in the series, Wabash did. Lost the Bell last year. Does it mean more this time to get it back after seeing that empty trophy case in the building at Crawfordsville all year?
Way more. The pain our kids went through for a year, it was misery. It was 360 days of misery, and we're thrilled. And kudos to DePauw. They played a great game.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
365 days of joy now.
Wabash wins the Monon Bell. They've won 8 of the last 9, and after losing last year at home, they have won for the 5th straight time in Greencastle. They led just once, and that's when it counted. 22-21. Wabash wins the 124th edition of this great rivalry.
I love Don Morrell's comments. You come to the Monon Bell game to win it, and that's what they did. They call the gutsy 2-point conversion call. They complete it. That's what he said. Give the kids credit. The 2 fakes, the 2-point conversion, anyone can call them. The kids have to execute, and they did. And just a tremendous back-to-back years in this game. It's nice to see this rivalry back and forth, to see the closeness of these games, to see the classic plays, and really this is a fantastic rivalry in every sense of the word. And what a game this afternoon, and congratulations to Wabash for taking that bell back up the road to Crawfordsville.
Tied at 14 at the half. DePauw led 21-14. Wabash scores the touchdown to pull within a point and gets the 2-point conversion to win it. Thanks to Jeremiah Johnson on the sideline, my partner Brad Wochomurka, and for all the folks here with Fox Sports Indiana and those at Wabash College and DePauw University. I'm Chris Denari. The Wabash Little Giants have won back the Monon Bell. They beat the DePauw Tigers 22-21 here on Fox Sports Indiana.